This is the Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
Walking down the sidewalk, kicking my feet as I'm moving to the music. Step to the beat, I woke today, canceled all my plans, and I stepped right outside with my guitar in my hands, and the notes became loud as the sound caressed the air, and I kicked it up a notch as I strolled without a care, 'cause I'm going down the road to a brand new place, and I'll get there with a smile on my face. Yeah, so lift me up, I'm moving on, singing and dancing while I play my song. Yeah, I'm having a good time, keeping it going. Come on, clap your hands and won't you sing along, and I'll take it up high. Give our dreams their wings to fly. Gotta keep the fire, keep the fire burning, keep the hope alive. You gotta keep it turning.
We're excited. We just want to say thank you for the opportunity for clearing our name, and we've been here for the patients. We want to continue to be here for the patients. We support safe access and education here, so we're excited and we've been blessed. Thank you.
And Judy, we kicked your booty!
Countdown to launch. The Medical Marijuana
Launch commit.
Radio Show.
Guidance is internal. Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. Power cleared.
The Medical Marijuana Radio Show is a production of the Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
You tuned in to that Medical Marijuana Show. 855 Triple M Radio.
Keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal.
You tuned in to that Medical Marijuana Show. 855 Triple M Radio.
Keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal.
Okay, Steve is the host with the co-host Denise. Starting at noon Saturdays every week. Yes, we keepin' you legal. Legislators and lawyers, doctors and the growers. The show is for the people. Michigan Medical Marijuana, no hassle. We talk about anything, any issue we can handle. Call us up and let us know what is on your mind. And make sure when you do it legal every time. You tuned in to that Medical Marijuana Show. 855 Triple M Radio.
Keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal.
You tuned in to that Medical Marijuana Show. 855 Triple M Radio.
Keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it
And here we go. Welcome to another Medical Marijuana Radio Show. Oh boy, here we go. It's been a big day in the medical marijuana field, let me tell you. Big day. I don't even know if there's going to be enough time in the show to tell you what's going on today. Let's give you a sneak peek, shall we? First of all, thanks for joining the program. My name is Steve Green. I'm patient, caregiver, a medical marijuana advocate, activist, media man extraordinaire, whatever you want to call me. I'm just little old me. This show's not about me, otherwise it'd be called the Steve Green Show. It's not. It's called the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. For a reason. That's the spotlight. That's the focus. Our focus here is the subject of medical marijuana, obviously. Today is a big day because so many wins were made. When you are trying to fight a cause and you get a situation where you've got a win in your column, especially when they're hard to come by, the wins add up. The little wins add up. And today I would say that these were not little wins. You saw the piece there at the front. I'll play it for you again. This is Shakina Pena. Shakina was accused in Lansing, Michigan. Shakina, by the way, runs Your Healthy Choice Alternatives Clinic. It's a compassion club. I'll read it right from her card. It's the Your Healthy Choice Clinic and Compassionate Compliant Cannabis Club. I don't know why she would want to put compliant in there. It looks too much like complaint. It's compliant. Shakina, we love you. Shakina was accused of screwing with the election laws, trying to buy votes and such. It was all a bunch of hogwash from Bill Schuette is what it was. It was a whole lot of nothing about nothing. And you'll see it in the papers coming up tomorrow. Everybody's reporting on this. So I'll play you her piece again. Look at this. I'll play it one more time for you.
want to say thank you for the opportunity for clearing our name, and we've been here for the patients. We want to continue to be here for the patients. We support safe access and education here, so we're excited and we've been blessed. Thank you.
And Judy, we kicked your booty! Word!
You see what that is? The reason that's interesting is because, first off, that's Shakina Pena's own video. I asked her to make that on her cell phone when I heard that she had won this case. A couple hours afterwards, when she got done with some reporters and doing some local celebrating and some high-fiving inside the area there. You got to celebrate the victories when you get them. Shakina Pena is one of the guys celebrating, or girls celebrating victories today. The other one celebrating a victory today is Barb and Nick Agro and Sal. Poor Sal, God rest his soul. All this clinical release stuff. The judge threw the case out. So a jury of her peers in Lansing finds Shakina Pena not guilty of violating election laws. The whole thing was ridiculous. And then this business about clinical relief in Ferndale, throwing the case out. Here's the thing. Here's what I've heard. This is what Barb Agro told me moments before I went on the air. Barb told me that that they threw the case out. That the judge in the case decided that the law was too ambiguous, and because they had all this is an argument I believe Neil Rockhind had made, and this is what our Barb said. Well, I'm just reporting what I heard at this point. This is not news. Well, the story's news. The win is news. I can guarantee you this happened. The part I'm talking about is just hearsay until we get Mr. Rockhind on the phone. That's what we're going to do in this program. We're going to see if we can't get a hold of Neil Rockhind. We'll also see if we can't get a hold of Nick Agro, Barb's son, and get some reaction from them on those big wins. Also, as it relates, getting all kinds of people nominating for a Buddy Award. Did you get nominated for a Buddy Award? The Buddy Awards are coming up January 29th. I've been tooting the horn about it because it's coming up quickly. And if you want to get a chance to nominate someone, you can do it at radioweedshow.com/nominate. Or find the link on the front page of radioweedshow.com and nominate your heart away. There are a lot of people that deserve being nominated and that deserve the Buddy Award. And we'd like to invite all the nominees to the ceremony taking place January 29th at the Clarion Hotel and Conference Center on Jackson Avenue in Ann Arbor. 2900 Jackson Avenue, 48103, I believe, is the zip code. So, and we invite you there, too. There's a whole conference going. It's a medical marijuana conference. It's happening the 27th, 28th, and 29th. Up in Lapeer tonight, they're having another conference. The Vote Green Initiative Project is doing a deal up there. So all kinds of stuff is happening, and also in the program today, we want to talk about the Buzz News and the discount card. We'll see if we can't get Dan on the phone. So we're going to rifle through these subjects. If you would like to be on the program, I believe there's a way for you to get involved. It's 810-423-2350. We got permission to do the, and I don't know if I announced this yet. I don't think I had a chance to announce this on this show. We did get permission from the people at Wayne State's Law School to broadcast live the Wayne State Law Review's symposium on medical marijuana, or on marijuana and legislation and whether or not it should be legal, and the whole question of medical marijuana, or the whole question of the criminal justice system handling marijuana versus the public health system. These are all good questions to ask. There'll be good answers. A lot of important people there. Our drug czar from the United States of America is going to be there. Former Attorney General Mike Cox, Democrat, going to be the keynote speaker. And then panelists. There are 2 full panels for the day. Neil Rockhind's on the panel. A whole bunch of people on the panels. So we'll see if we can't get Neil to talk about that. We'll see if we can't get Neil to talk about, if we can get him on the phone. Can't see if we can't get Neil to talk about the case, the clinical relief win. And go from there. So with us on the phone right now, at the moment, and Ken, we're going to come up on a break, is Sharky. Sharky, welcome to the program.
Hey, Steve. Good to hear from you, man. We're doing good over here by Area 51.
Area 51, out there in the dead hills of Nevada.
That's right, brother. I just want to say congratulations to Miss Pena. Really good to put a little kick to Bill Schuette. And I also want to say to your listeners, Bill Schuette has been invited onto your show. and we'll see if that ever happens. We need to have a frank discussion with this gentleman, from patients to the law enforcers of Michigan.
If we
Tell
can
them
get
exactly what we think.
if we can get Bill to come on, look, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
People need to hear Bill more directly. Less sound bites and less controlled environment. How about you just open it up, Mr. Schutte, and let people ask you some honest questions?
Absolutely.
We're not gonna beat you up. We're just gonna ask you. We'll probably ask you some pointed questions about why you're doing what you're doing and what your belief and thoughts are behind it. Give us some personal answers, Mr. Schutte, because it seems like this is coming from a personal place. It seems like your vindictive nature about this whole business is personal. But, I can't speak for you, Mr. Schutte. We'd love to have you come on and say it yourself.
Well, my opinion about what he says there, Steve, is that from what he says, he doesn't want cannabis around sensitive areas and school zones and those kinds of things.
Look, we have laws already that take care of that.
Right. Let's get rid of the all the liquor stores while we're at it, and all the pharmacies all around the schools and everything.
Well, or not to mention, now how about the local CVS pharmacy that's right next to the school?
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. And I want to congratulate again Ms. Pena. That just shows that the voters do have a voice, and Mr. Schutte best better start listening to the voters, or he'll be out of a job.
I brought Ken
back working at Dow.
Yeah, well, thanks for that sentiment, Ken, because I really appreciate it. I brought Sharky on today. Sharky's been doing some long-distance producing. That's why he's asked Mr. Schutte to come on the show. So you might get a call from Sharky asking to come on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
Well, I'm doing what any medical marijuana patient should be doing to get this issue out, to get hemp legalized, to get some common sense law enforcement and health aid to people that actually need it. So let's get this country back in order, back going again, get the farmers working, and that's all I'm looking for. I'm just one of millions in this country should be working and making phone calls.
So
that's about it, my friend. I just want to also say that Joe Grumbine...
Yeah, wait, whoa. You're going to spoil... Hey, who's in control of the program here? let me dole out what's happening. Hang on, I don't want to spoil it because we haven't got time to get into it yet. There's going to be a commercial break coming up here very shortly, and I figured being that... let me just double check on the time here. Because I don't like to get into a subject that's going to take more time than we have to consume.
Okay, well, let's just say also that Florida is going to pass an initiative this year. You guys in Michigan are looking to pass 21 and over this year.
Correct.
Let's get everybody out there, and Oregon, Washington, California's cannabis like wine, which is makes absolutely perfect sense.
It does.
And let's get it going, man. Let's push back. 2011, they pushed back on us. 2012 is our year, I would think.
Ken, immediately following this program, you'll be seeing the Genesee County Compassion Club show, and then after that, Lanny Swerdlow's Marijuana Compassion and Common Sense radio show, which aired on Monday evening out of KCAA Radio in California. The reason I mentioned both of those shows is because some of the people on the ground doing some of the footwork here that give me some of this information, got a couple of guys. We got Rick Thompson and Jamie Lowell, our guests on the Genesee County Compassion Club show. That aired earlier today. We carried some of that live. And then, so we're going to repeat it after this show. And we're going to also repeat Monday's Marijuana Compassion and Common Sense radio show from Lanny Swerdlow and friends out there in California. The reason being is because they've got some other wins to talk about. And they're going to talk about this regulate marijuana like wine thing.
Absolutely. Man, he's one of the few people I know that is actually on this issue as much as I am, if not more. And he's very knowledgeable, and I love listening to all the shows all around the country, and even from the UK and all over the world.
Very well. So hang on with us for a second, Ken, so we can tell the Joe Grumbine story. Get him a tease. Tell him there's been some news with Joe Grumbine. I'll do it for you. There's been some news with Joe Grumbine, and we're going to find out from the Shark. Sharky's on the phone with us. Stay tuned on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. Don't go away. There's so much more to come.
Steve and Denise will be right back on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
No, Denise ain't here.
Marijuana Radio Network.
The patient's place for medical marijuana and safe access is Third Coast. Beautiful downtown Ypsilanti is where you can get safe, affordable access to education and materials concerning your specific needs, and quality products designed to meet your exacting needs. It's the Third Coast, 19 North Hamilton in Ypsilanti. Convenient hours, friendly, professional, compassionate. Call Third Coast today, 734-487-5402. That's the Third Coast Compassion Center in downtown Ypsilanti, 734-487-5402. Hey, Steve Green here for the Medical Marijuana Certifications at AMMP. They're the American Medical Marijuana Professionals. You'll find them just north of Utica Road on Gratiot in Roseville. Their address is 28349. Now, call-ins are welcome, but you're better off calling for an appointment. They have a toll-free number, 877-RX-420-99. That's 877-RX-420-99 for American Medical Marijuana Professionals. That's AMMP on Gratiot in Roseville.
The Green Bee Collective.
Hey, medical marijuana patients, it's time to discover what all the buzz is about in Ann Arbor.
The Green Bee Collective.
The Green Bee Collective is busy making sure your patient needs are met with high-quality, locally grown meds.
The Green Bee Collective.
Get to know the information, the research, the benefit available to your condition.
The Green Bee Collective.
Weekly specials in just minutes from downtown Ann Arbor and I-94.
The Green Bee Collective.
The details are sweet at mmmgreenbee.com. Call 734-929-2553 now. Okay, folks, listen up. Here's the deal. Due to overwhelming popularity and demand, and to the fact that we've sponsored the Medical Marijuana Buddy Awards, the first annual ever Michigan Medical Marijuana Awards are absolutely free to nominations. That's right. Because we've got sponsorship for the event. So we wanted to open up this to make it as wide as possible. And now we're accepting nominations absolutely free of charge on the front page of RadioWeedShow.com. Nominate your friend for a Medical Marijuana Achievement Award today. You can do it at RadioWeedShow.com. If you are a carded Michigan medical marijuana patient with a need for safe access but have reservations about privacy and discretion, there is an answer. It's the Ant Farm. The Ant Farm is Metro Detroit's trusted professional mobile transfer service. Write this toll-free number down, 888-369-3320. Lab-tested, mold and pesticide-free. It's the Ant Farm's convenience you'll try, but quality standards, privacy, and friendly professionals that will bring you back. The Ant Farm comes to you. Call for discreet details right away, 888-369-3320.
I can't win, I can't reign, I will never.
Welcome back to the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. Hey, look, I sound a little different now, don't I? It's kind of weird. Look, I'm mic free. No, I'm not. It's right here. Hey, look at that. It's strange. I gave up the other microphone to Justin. Are you there, Justin?
I sure am.
Look at there. So you got the warm microphone, Justin. Why do I get the crappy one? I should get a warmer mic. I don't like it. You've got the big mic stand, too. Justin's out of shot here. He's not on camera. Sharky's back on the phone with us, by the way. Can you hear me okay, Sharky? I'm on a different mic now.
Everything's beautiful.
You guys sound so much better than I do. I sound like crap. It's this stupid lav mic. I don't like it. I need to find a way to add bass to it. I haven't figured it out yet. So, Sharky, say hello to Justin.
Hey, Justin, how's it going?
All right, about yourself, Ken.
All right, we're doing good today. Good news for a change.
Yeah.
Makes the day go better.
You got to like the good news.
Yeah, so the good news, everybody, is that Joe Grumbine and Joe Byron's case, the judge has recused himself from the case for obvious bias. He's been pressured by local newspapers and media and has had a big response on how he ran the case, and in collusion with the prosecution, that he had to recuse himself from the case today. So instead of going into prison today, Joe got a bit of relief, a time to breathe and get his appeal together. And let's all cross our fingers for that case to be thrown out of court like it deservedly needed to be. And then we can add up the cost of all these people that are now being, found innocent. Millions and millions of dollars are being spent to try and put these people in prison. Police are lying, judges are lying. It just goes to show the larger issue of how we need to straighten out our judicial system. But I'm just so happy that a guy Joe is not going to be run over by it for now anyway. And soon it gives me hope that nonviolent drug offenders will be released shortly, as like Joe, just like Mark Emery and Eddie Leth, hopefully will be out before their sentences are done. So we have some good news. There's good news going all over the country. Like I said,
So wait, just,
2012 is
Ken,
gonna be
I just wanted to point out the important part of what you were saying there again. The biggest, the most important part about this news is that the judge has recused himself from the case.
That's right.
Now, here's where I'm a little confused, because I'm not sure how this plays into things. Maybe you can help me figure it out. I have to move this mic because I don't like it. Can I move it a little closer? Something. I don't know. Sorry about that. There we go. It's getting blocked by the hoodie. I got a hoodie on. All right. So, the thing that I'm confused about is, so Joe is actually filing an appeal.
That's correct.
And so I would think that there would not be the same judge. You're saying the new judge is recusing himself?
No, today was the day he was going in for sentencing, and they have already, filed an appeal of the guilty charges. Today was supposed to be his sentencing day, where he was expecting to be led away for at least a year while they were working on the appeal. So since the judge has recused himself today, that means that he has at least a couple months more freedom. The case may be overturned before they even have to appeal it. Let's all cross our fingers before they have to go through that expense. But it looks like even if they go through appeal, that case is going to be dismissed out of all the breaches of
good faith,
good conduct by everybody, of the law enforcement involved. And as citizens, we need to look into this, because it's just one case showing all the injustices that are going on in this country. People going to prison for life over this drug war that just everybody knows is a failure, and people are just trying to hang on to it for dear life, like your good buddy Bill Schuette. And they're going to find out that, the people, they want medical marijuana. They want 21 and over marijuana. They want hemp production in this country. And it's about personal freedoms. It's about production. It's about living the American way. And we're not going to give up. And that's the one thing they're just going to have to figure out.
That's right.
Or they're going to be out of jobs. I mean, the bottom line is they will all be out of jobs. And just the fact that Ron Paul is doing as well as he is goes to show that this country is tired of the rhetoric, and we want real change.
Right.
And we're going to make it happen. And we don't have to do it in a violent way. All we have to do is, just like Ms. Pena did, is get people to the polls, get people out there and vote, and get our voices out there, because it counts. It does count.
It does count. It absolutely does. It's really important that people are involved and understand what's going on and understand what the status quo is. And the status quo changes every time we do pass a new law or have a case law. Because we got case law coming down. Every time there's something happens, it affects the way things are.
That's correct, whether it's for us or against us. And we just got to make sure, the real education gets out there. The real science gets out there, and the cannabis and hemp, just like Jack Herrera always said, is the tip of the iceberg when you're talking about the way our federal government is mishandling our funds, the way or the local government and the judges, I think they're gods unto themselves, and law enforcement all has to be retrained not to consider citizens criminals right off the bat. We're not guilty until we prove ourselves innocent, and it has to do with everything. I mean, TSA, it's all interlocking, and it all needs to be changed. And this is just to show that people that do fight, even though they be put through the ringer, their families, everybody's made to suffer for fighting back. We need people like Joe to do. We all need to stand up for our rights. If we give them up, there won't be anything left to stand up for it, So we just have to keep on fighting.
That's right.
It's not over yet, but at least I'm glad that Joe has a day to rest and a day to be happy.
Yes.
And hopefully we can show, and, like I said, I think 2012 will be the big year that, either they're going to try total tyranny or we're going to change things. And it looks like, we have momentum on our side again, and we just got to keep it up. And, my thanks to people like you that get the word out there, Paul Stanford, Lanny, everybody. You guys put yourselves out there. You guys take the risks. You guys take the chances. And you guys all, deserve awards, just not in Michigan, but internationally.
Look, we're not going to keep the Buddy Awards to Michigan. We're going to move them everywhere else, too. We're going to take this to California, Nevada, and Oregon, and all Arizona, all these other states that are doing this stuff, because they should be recognized, too. We just ended up starting it here. As it relates, Ken, while we still got you on the phone, I wanted to do a Rick Jones update. Reason being is because, as long as we're having a celebratory day where we're doing some celebrating here, we might have some fun with that celebration. And so let's do a Rick Jones update. I'll show you a special new feature I've got here with the software. Watch this. Oh, is it going to do it? Yeah.
I mean, come on, folks. Does this sound like a conservative Republican to you? Or a crackpot?
Okay, that's all I got for a Rick Jones update. That'll be the new Rick Jones update theme. Come on, folks. I don't know who that is that says that, but I think it's great. So the Rick Jones update goes as follows, and now I'll show you the new feature. So if you're watching this on camera, you'll see the camera disappear, and you'll see this come up. Look at that. So that's the control center. That's what makes everything go around, what you're looking at on the screen right now. Now I'm going to go ahead and change that screen. Here's where it gets interesting. So I can actually pull up the website now and show you what the website looks like. The website, oh look, it's not even up there. Take it up now. We're going to show you what RadioWeedShow.com. I don't know. If you've never gone to RadioWeedShow.com, we'll take you there now. See, I can't see what you can see, but I'll bet you can see what I'm looking at.
I can't see anything.
You're blind, Ken. You're like me.
That's right.
So we're just going to go home here. All right, here we go. So this is the place where I'm pointing the pointer on the screen now, is where you can nominate somebody for an achievement award. Now I'm going to go up over here. Let me see, where's this? I'm looking for these little important updates. These are news links. So you got the symposium news link here. You got the cops who support legalizing marijuana. Presidential editorial, all this stuff here. Now we post. Here's the Joe Byron and Joe Grumbine guilty of all counts of Long Beach pot trial. We need to update that now, don't we?
Yeah, sure do.
So we got that up there. Now if you go over to news link, it's up in the upper right hand corner. News links right there. Let me see if there's a story on here about, and I hope you put it up here. I'll be mad if you missed it, because then I'll look like a boob. I look like a boob anyway sometimes. Jessica Cooper, Ron Paul, petition drive. I'm looking for the dispensary operators, crackdown by feds, Chesterfield Township, pot shops. Oh, where is the story? Oh, might have to look it up in another place. I thought he posted it up here. I gave it to him to post. The story is about, and I don't see it here. I'm going to go to another place. I have to look it up. We're going to do Rick Jones. I have to do a search now, actually. So we're searching for Rick Jones in the email, and I'll come up with this. I'll come up with a story quickly this way. It's still searching. It's doing a little search. You don't mind waiting while we search, do you, Justin?
No, I'm good.
Are you okay with this, Sharky, while we search?
Oh, search away, man.
Stand by. I'm just filling time. I'm killing time here.
I used to be the locksmith for Davy Jones from the Monkees, right?
No, I don't.
Yeah, he has a ranch down in Florida, man. I went and helped him several times. Real nice guy.
Yeah, he's getting elderly now, isn't he? He's getting up there, isn't he?
Oh, he's like a little munchkin.
He is a little short guy, Davy Jones is.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that a little before your time, Justin, the Monkees?
Just a little bit.
I don't think
I know.
Last train to Clarksville.
You don't know side, that's for sure.
Last train. You don't know the last train to Clarksville, Justin?
No.
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 The last train to Clarksville, and I'll meet you at the station. You don't know that song?
I'm born in '87. No.
Oh, good God! He barely knows Madonna. For crying out loud.
Somebody was actually born after Live Aid. Amazing.
All right, now it's giving me a hard time, the stupid thing. All right, I just got to look for it the hard way. It's going to take me a second. Because now, see, I'm just not going to let it go. Rick Jones, where's the Rick Jones story? It was still, it was taking too long to think. It didn't look like it was ever going to come off of it. Why was it taking so long to look up the Rick Jones story? Rick Jones compares somebody as a hooker. He's talking about some PR lady in Lansing. He calls her a hooker. I thought it was really funny. He's like, oh, this lady's a PR lady. She's like any other, as long as you pay her, she'll do what you want. He calls her a hooker.
Well,
oh, here it is. Found it.
PR ladies,
So this is my Rick Jones update. Now I've wasted the whole show on the Rick Jones update just searching for the stupid story. So here you go. This is Senator Rick Jones Wednesday morning as I was getting ready for my second day reporting on state government. This is out of MLive. This story is reporting it. This is a .com reporting this. It says, this is a reporter. She says, Senator Rick Jones Wednesday morning as I was getting ready for my second day reporting on state government for MLive.com, my two oldest children, ages 7 and 8, got into a vicious name-calling fight. He called me a duty head, shouted my daughter. She called me a poo-poo head first, my son quickly challenged. I expect these things from my kids, but I don't expect them from grown adults, usually. When I got to work, I was quickly handed an article from the MIRS, a Capitol News Service, where Kelly Rossman of the Truscott-Rossman PR firm slammed State Senator Rick Jones, Republican of Grand Ledge, for calling her a hooker, Jones said. As an elected senator, I'm honored to fight on behalf of my constituents for the best public policy. Unfortunately, Kelly, like a hooker, works for whichever client hires her. Policy be damned. He says he accused her of saying anything a client asks as long as there is money involved. Jones's hooker comment was in response to an editorial Rossman wrote for the MIRS News, referring to Jones as one of her biggest losers of the year for his public use of public office to promote his policy ideas and stump for re-election. She says he's unavoidable for comment. I love it. He's all about the media release rather than the public policy. So you've got these squabbling going on. I just think it's funny when our state senators, you'd think that the Senate is a place for levity, a place for pause, a place for calm. That's the Senate's always played that role both in our state and our U.S. governments. And here you got the senator calling this PR lady a hooker. I think that's funny.
Well, it's nice to hear a politician talking about something they actually know about, because if anybody knows what a prostitute is, it would be a state senator.
That's for sure. Well, Ken, I wanted to give you that piece of news. Thanks for the Joe Grumbine update. We're going to move along. I've got so much show to get in. Thank you for doing all the things that you do, and thanks for trying to get BS on our show.
No problem. Well, you'll hear from me shortly, Steve. Take care of everybody in Michigan.
Thank you so much, Ken.
Peace out. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, so we're moving along here. We got to see if we can't get Neil Rockhind. First, I'm just going to call him and see if he'll do the show. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. Sorry about the noise. Stand by. I'm looking up Neil Rockhind's number. Takes me a second. Normally, see if we had a show producer, they could do this for me when I'm not on air. But I'm the only guy, so this is what we got to deal with. Until we get a show producer that's not Ken, because poor Ken, he's got muscular dystrophy, or he's got MS, not muscular dystrophy. He's got multiple sclerosis, and he's off in the hills of the Rocky Mountains. There's no way he can help us from there. Not like this. Rockhind, where's he at? There we go. We'll see if we can't. I'm going to call Neil off air real quick because I don't want to surprise him on air. Bear with. See if we can't scrape him up, as it were. If not, we'll see if we can't get Nick Agro on in the alternative. Got the trusty iPhone at hand. It's 6:44 in the evening, Eastern time. Hopefully Neil's still bouncing around with some of his work people and not off at home. Just like 6 rings. It looks like it's going to go to voicemail, and he's going to go, who the heck is this calling me? I don't think he's got me saved in there. He's like, who the hell is calling me? Okay, so here we go. Going to leave the message now. Mr. Neil Rockhind, it's Steve Green. We're on the air right now, and we just wanted to get some reaction from you as it relates to your congratulatory victory with the dismissal of the charges with clinical relief. Can you give us an update? We're going to, if we can't hear from you, we'll probably start knocking on other doors. But we're hoping you'll call us back, 810-423-2350. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Neil. Neil, I believe, has been nominated for a Medical Marijuana Achievement Award. He's been nominated for a Buddy Award. Hopefully you'll get nominated for a Buddy Award if you're in Michigan. And maybe, if you're not in Michigan, you'll get nominated anyways when we're in your state. We're not there yet. We're working on it. One step at a time. This is the first baby step. So we haven't gotten it. Justin, could you do me a favor? Never mind, I got it. I forgot that I'm wireless. I can walk over here. For crying out loud, I can go to the men's room if I want and still be on the air. That's weird. That's just... As long as the audio doesn't sneak up behind me and kick me off the air. So during the break, look here. Getting a call back. I'm not sure who it's from. Stand by, folks. More to come up on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. Don't go away. We're on the phone while we're on pause and hold with a break.
Got something to say?
Call now toll free. 855-MMM Radio. The Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
Okay, folks, listen up. Here's the deal. Due to overwhelming popularity and demand, and to the fact that we've sponsored the Medical Marijuana Buddy Awards, the first annual ever Michigan Medical Marijuana Awards are absolutely free to nominations. That's right, because we've got sponsorship for the event. So we wanted to open up this to make it as wide as possible, and now we're accepting nominations absolutely free of charge on the front page of RadioWeedShow.com. Nominate your friend for a Medical Marijuana Achievement Award today. You can do it at RadioWeedShow.com. The patient's place for medical marijuana and safe access is Third Coast. Beautiful downtown Ypsilanti is where you can get safe, affordable access to education and materials concerning your specific needs, and quality products designed to meet your exacting needs. It's the Third Coast, 19 North Hamilton in Ypsilanti. Convenient hours, friendly, professional, compassionate. Call Third Coast today, 734-487-5402. That's the Third Coast Compassion Center in downtown Ypsilanti, 734-487-5402. Medical Marijuana Certification. And now you can find out everything you need to know online at getpotid.com. Or write down this toll-free number, 855-DOC-CERT. A friendly specialist will direct you to our Farmington Hills office. Medical Marijuana Certification. GetPotID.com. It's the key to getting your card. Information, resources, and in the end, if you're qualified, a medical card. Call toll-free right now, 855-DOC-CERT. That's 855-DOC-CERT. It's GetPotID.com. Hey, Steve Green here for the Medical Marijuana Certifications at AMMP. They're the American Medical Marijuana Professionals. You'll find them just north of Utica Road on Gratiot in Roseville. Their address is 28349. Now, call-ins are welcome, but you're better off calling for an appointment. They have a toll-free number, 877-RX-420-99. That's 877-RX-420-99 for American Medical Marijuana Professionals. That's AMMP on Gratiot in Roseville. The law offices of Targowski and Grow remind you to stand up for your rights. Always treat law enforcement with respect, but if you're detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, I respectfully invoke all of my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search or seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to talk to my attorneys, John Targowski and Daniel Grow. Targowski and Grow have the education and experience you need to be successful in Michigan courts. Call Targowski and Grow toll-free, 800-957-1069. The law offices of Targowski and Grow, 800-957-1069.
The Green Bee Collective.
Hey, medical marijuana patients, it's time to discover what all the buzz is about in Ann Arbor.
The Green Bee Collective.
The Green Bee Collective is busy making sure your patient needs are met with high-quality, locally grown meds.
The Green Bee Collective.
Get to know the information, the research, the benefit available to your condition.
The Green Bee Collective.
Weekly specials in just minutes from downtown Ann Arbor and I-94.
The Green Bee Collective.
The details are sweet at MMMGreenBee.com. Call 734-929-2553 now.
It's the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
Welcome back to the program. Cutting to break. We were getting ready to see if we couldn't scrape up somebody on the phone to talk about the wins going on in court today. A couple of wins happening. One of them happening at the hands of a legal team. It's Neil Rockhind and Tom Loeb, who we managed to get on the phone to talk about their press release. Congratulations, fellas, and welcome to the program.
Thank you, Steve. Nice to be here.
So can you give us the news? Because I don't have it all. Give us the spiel. We'll hear it right from the horse's mouths.
Okay, here's what we did. In this case, the search warrant raid in Ferndale of the Clinical Relief Dispensary took place in August of 2010. Mm-hmm. At that time, there had been no definitive ruling in this appellate courts in Michigan deciding one way or another whether medical marijuana dispensaries were legal. The argument we made, and the argument that had traction, is under basic due process principles, it's simply unfair to charge civilians with knowledge of how the law will evolve. The Medical Marijuana Act, as you know, all of the police authorities have been complaining about how poorly drafted it is, how confusing it is.
That's ambiguous in some way?
Basic due process says you have to know what the law is so that if you violate it, the law gives fair notice. This statute gave no fair notice, and it wasn't until the apothecary, the compassionate apothecary case, People versus McQueen, that came down out of Isabella County, was decided that there was any judicial gloss on whether or not a dispensary can operate and sell medicine in Michigan. So because the law was unclear at the time of the conduct that they were charging under what's called the rule of lenity, which is a fancy legal term that simply means that there's an ambiguous statute that could be read two different ways. You read it in a way that favors the defendant. Because of that doctrine of law, Judge O'Brien had the courage to do the right thing and dismiss the case.
And this all relates to what you guys have been talking about as the shield versus the sword, yes?
Yes, precisely.
I'm going to get a better microphone because this one just is crappy. Hang on. There. I think this is better. Can you hear me better now?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, good. I'm sorry. I'm going to take this other mic off. Turn this other. I've got a wireless mic, and it's just not working. Well, it's working, but it's crappy for the moment. So let me get rid of this. Bear with me. I'm sorry about that. Go ahead. So now, what does this mean? I mean, so the case has been dismissed at this point?
The case has been dismissed, but the prosecutor will certainly appeal, and we'll have to get an appellate decision.
But, Steve?
Yes.
It means everything.
Yes, I think it does.
It means everything. This was the first. This was not a shot over the bow when the sheriff's department chose to raid Clinical Relief. This was a direct shot into the most populated, by analogy, the most populated area. It would be like dropping a bomb on a school in midday, as opposed to picking an empty field at night. This was a facility that operated in broad daylight. It was licensed. It was being operated with the permission of the local police department and the local elected officials. The owners and operators invited the general public. They invited elected officials, police officers, officials from neighboring communities, and the media to come tour the facility. Every other dispensary that I knew of, or that I now know of, has in one way, shape, or another copied something about the way that Clinical Relief was operated. It was the gold standard of medical marijuana dispensaries. And everything that they did was out in the open. Everything that the police did was clandestine, secret, and secretive. They created phony and false medical marijuana cards pretending to be patients.
See, that's what gets me.
They gained access into a secure building pretending that they were sick or needy patients. They filled out HIPAA or other medical attestations asserting that they were patients and that a doctor had verified or certified them for medical marijuana use. And they actually went so far as to go multiple times secretly tape recording their interviews with these people, all to try to record the extraordinary act of our clients doing what they said they were going to do, which was to provide certified card-carrying medical marijuana patients with medicine.
We call it safe access.
You know, what's extraordinary is that, I don't know if you remember, but shortly after the raid, I know Tom remembers because we talked about it, there was a massive press release and then followed up with a huge press conference in which Sheriff Bouchard
Yes.
And the Oakland County prosecutor stood behind a lectern. They had a slideshow. They had cartoons. They had showed guns that had been taken from another raid. They talked about things like complaints that had been received from neighboring communities. They displayed, the marijuana like you see on those pictures about, where they raid some Mexican drug lord's place and they get piles and piles of drugs. They displayed the medicine, and they talked about how they were that these people were violating the law, and that they were then treated them all like drug dealers. You understand that why this is so important is this was the first case in which people who were acting pursuant to the Medical Marijuana Act in the dispensary were accused of criminal acts. They weren't just brought in some kind of a civil case where the Attorney General said, "Stop doing what you're doing." They were accused of being criminals. Had they been convicted in this case, their lives would be irreparably changed. Felons, they could not receive certain government benefits, couldn't have firearms, they'd be prohibited, couldn't vote, they would in a lot of ways, they would lose their driver's licenses.
All the things that felons can't do.
Well, I mean, and I'm going to tell you something, and I don't, I have been accused of having a large ego. Well, not a large ego. I've been accused of having an extraordinarily large ego. But I want to tell you that the group of lawyers that fought through this case together against, I think, a lot of the odds and the overwhelming number of negative opinions is really incredible.
Extremely
impressive.
I was talking with Barb Agro moments before we went on the air today, and Barb was saying she would be really interested to find out how much money Oakland County spent on prosecuting this ridiculous case.
It's terrible. I agree with what she's suggesting. And the import of this case can be best seen by comparing it to what happened in Isabella County. A prosecutor with class, Larry Burdick, in Isabella County, brought a civil declaratory action, a nuisance action against the Compassionate Apothecaries Company, and they did it the right way. They didn't go in there with guns drawn, arresting people like criminals. They litigated it in court, and they got an answer.
Steve, hang on for 1 second.
So, what these guys are giving us is a lot of very important information.
I'm sorry, say again?
That's okay. I was just telling people while you were offline there that what you guys are giving us is some very important information, and we should be taking close note to it.
Well, the significance is if you saw the joint press conference that Jessica Cooper and Mike Bouchard gave,
yes, I
they
did.
compared these people to dope gangs selling crack on street corners.
Yes.
To cars that stop at a red light out of paper bags. It was terrible. Ferndale is not a wealthy city, and there are plenty of medical marijuana patients there that have problems just with transportation.
Sure.
And as you know, lots of patients can't grow their own. So for many people, they were relying on this facility to get their medicine. And when they came in on August 25th and executed the search warrant, they did it like a SWAT team.
Right.
Just no class at all.
They haven't had any class with this in any of these raids that I've seen, including the. Go ahead.
But you want to know one of the things too is that this was not. There are so many human stories, so many stories that are, I think, of human interest that should be followed up on by you, Steve. I hope you do, or other members of the media. One of the, obviously, Barb Agro's story. Her husband died while this case was pending, and shortly after
the raid,
his family had been raided and arrested.
I think most people blame that death on the raid.
Wasn't it within a week?
There was another, for example, I know that there were family members. I went to court and looked at some of the Agro children and their spouses, and the strain on their face, as they went through a criminal case was extraordinary. Another young man who was in the case, a man named Ryan Fleischner. Ryan was someone who's battled illness his entire life. He worked at Clinical Relief. I think his condition probably has deteriorated. I mean, the stories go on and on and on. I mean, Tom's client has battled illness, and I mean,
look, as Barb put it to
me, you know
me,
this, but this is important. People don't know this when they watch court TV, but Tom and I live with this every day. Going through a criminal case, being accused in a criminal case, is very similar, in my observation, and has been described by others, being very similar to dying and suffering from a catastrophic illness or condition. Every day, people say, well, relax and try to put it behind you. You can relax for about a few minutes, but then as soon as your mind goes blank, you think of it again.
It's
you
hard
wonder
to
what your life is going to be like.
Right. It's very hard to do that.
I don't think that I can describe fairly what it's like to go through a criminal case. I want to tell you, not just the lawyers in this case, who I think are extraordinary. This is one of the best group of lawyers that I have seen. I don't think some of us had never worked together before this case started. And I will tell you that no matter what happens in the case, I will consider the lawyers that I've worked with in this case to be amongst the best. And this was, and I'm going to tell you just flat out, and I don't give a lot of compliments out very often, Steve. I don't know if you know that. I think pretty highly of myself. I told you before. But the guy that I'm sitting in front of, who I know you know well.
I do.
Tom Loeb is an absolute. And I don't know if I can swear on your show or not. Are we on cable or are we on the radio?
We're not on the dial, but I try to keep the expletives down.
Okay, so let's just say that Tom. I use the word. I use the word friggin' as opposed to the other word.
There you go. Okay.
Tom is a friggin' animal in court, and I will tell you that he is fearless, and whatever when you watch him in court, he has an ability to give the rest of us a lot of courage. You really, and I'm not looking for any responsive compliments. I know what I did in the case. I know what my role was. I know how important I was to the team. But Tom is a warrior.
He is a warrior, and let me just add this, Neil Rockine, that Tom Loeb is one of those guys in the background. You don't hear about him very much, but he's out there doing some steaming work. He's out there pressing the flesh. He's making this happen.
I don't know about pressing the flesh, because I think that he's a pretty big guy. Guys are pretty well under some pretty decently tailored suits.
Right.
But Tom is a fighter, and I mean that. I mean, listen, there are lots of guys. You and I right now could take out a list of 100 websites and throw darts at the board. We can come up with 99 websites of lawyers that claim to fight. But I'm telling you, Tom was he was fearless, and it's hard to say why do I say that? Because there are moments where a judge would say, for example, a judge would not cut Tom off, but he'd want to interpose a question in the middle of Tom's argument.
Right.
Most of us would stop what we're doing and then try to address the judge. Tom at one point said, Judge, when I get to the end of this, if you'll do me the favor of letting me argue my whole argument, it will make perfect sense to you at the end. and he had an analogy where he talked about salamis and everything else. But it's just that sort of courage. He was really, really, really compelling, and it was great to work with him. And on complimenting Tom, I'm going to say something else that I think that it is very easy for a lot of clients in criminal cases to tuck and run because they're scared. I don't know if you know this or not, but many of the defendants in this case were recently offered plea deals.
I do. Barb told me that.
And they were offered plea deals on the eve of the day which we were going to have to go before this judge. None of us had any private meetings with the judge. None of us knew what he was going to rule. I probably said 4 or 5 times during the hearing, I think I turned to Tom or to Jerry Sabota, another one of the lawyers, and said, what's the judge going to do? And each time they looked back at me and they said, I don't know. But for Barb Agro, for Matt Curtis, for Nick Agro, for Ryan Richmond, Ryan Fleischner, Barb Johnson, I know I'm leaving somebody out.
Vaselli.
They toughed it out. Anthony Agro. I mean, they really toughed it out.
Look, you really have to do tough it out, because when they start coming to you and saying things like, "Hey, we'll just give you one felony," or "We'll just drop this down. You don't have to do no time." It's awfully tempting. That's what they want to do. They want to tempt you into saying, "I'm guilty."
I'm telling you, it was one of the. It was very, very, very. It was impressive, and I know that Tom already said this. You know, let me. I know you have a lot of listeners, and we're going to have to get to our press conference pretty soon. Let me share this with you. And I don't mean to disparage any of the lawyers that do very good criminal defense work, but if you have listeners, and I know you have sponsors and everything else, but if you have listeners who have medical marijuana cases, I really encourage them to pay particular attention to the lawyers who happen to concentrate in this area.
Yes.
Tom Loeb is one of them. You could not go wrong calling.
Look, I have no problem with you guys plugging your services.
No,
Please let people know how they can get a hold of you guys. It's really important.
Tom? It's 248. Tom's number is 248-851-2020.
248-851-2020 for Tom Loeb.
He doesn't probably market himself or advertise as well as he could. We tease him about that. His wife is on he's on the third iteration of his first website. But
by the way, he's got a classy website.
Warrior.
Tom's website's classy. I like it.
And everybody knows how to get hold of me. I can't say enough about how it is so important to get a hold of a lawyer who does this stuff.
Look, I could not have, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, Neil. I could not, because this interruption is in thanks for you guys. Specifically Tom. Yeah. You've helped, and Paul Thailand has helped. A number of people have reached into their own pockets and their own time and committed themselves to defend people who otherwise would not have a defense because they don't know how to. They're not equipped to do it. They don't have the training.
Well, this is not an area. This is not like an assault and battery case,
right?
Or a traffic ticket that you can walk into court and try to schmooze and BS the prosecutor and hope that you can get get some deal. And I see people doing that. These cases are fought tooth and nail. Tom can attest to that. The prosecutor's office, I don't know how much money they invested in this case in prosecuting it, but let's assume that a month-long raid with a 8-member or 9-member team of police officers conducting surveillance, undercover operations, electronic surveillance, record gathering. It took. I mean, at one point, I will tell you that the prosecutors. There's a rule that a prosecutor can have one police officer in court with them at all times.
Wow.
Okay. The prosecutors in this case insisted on having 2 because the case was so complex, and that's because of the way they investigated it. So all I can tell you is that justice was done today, and it's important. I'll tell you what I told someone earlier. The media shows up in droves. Whenever the police and the prosecutors have some announcement where somebody new is being charged.
Yep.
Right, Tom? They got a big press. They got 2 or 3 press members deep, and I think that Steve, I appreciate you calling us. The people who when the cases are dismissed and judges find that this case should not have been brought in the first place, those sorts of rulings, I think, deserve the same sort of attention. You got to tell your people out there, keep fighting. Do not give up.
I think people are intent on doing exactly that. You know that I am. You know that my heart.
I know you are.
My heart's in this.
But there are a lot of people that aren't. They get very nervous and scared. And I only tell you, I mean, look, I've filed to keep Judge Summers in Dearborn off medical marijuana cases. Tom and I have and I should say, I didn't say this earlier. I should say this. And if you'll give me one more plug.
That's okay. Go ahead. Yeah, absolutely.
At the last minute, in this case, the last month, Tom and I, we dipped into our bag of tricks, so to speak. And no, really, we hired the, I would say probably the best appellate lawyer, brief writer, researcher in the state. A brilliant guy. His name is Stuart Friedman. He's a genius. And Stuart was incredible and wrote an incredible, just incredible. And so
Stuart has a way with words that makes it easily understandable by judges, legal scholars, and laypersons. Anybody could have picked up his brief and understood the legal principles and exactly what he was saying.
Hey, Steve, by the way, I just want you to know that this is the first time ever that you have another member of the Beatles who just walked into the room. Cheryl Carpenter is one of the lawyers in this case as well.
Oh, wow.
She did an equally phenomenal job and deserves some kudos as well. So I don't know if you have any questions for her, but she was the lone woman on a defense team that was certainly full of lots of testosterone.
Guys, we got just seconds left in the program. One more time, if you got throw Tom's number out there for us one more time.
Sure. Tom, what's your number? It's
248-851-2020.
The Medical Marijuana Radio Show and RadioWeedShow.com are trademarks. Copyright 2011. If you are a carded Michigan medical marijuana patient with a need for safe access but have reservations about privacy and discretion, there is an answer. It's the Ant Farm. The Ant Farm is Metro Detroit's trusted professional mobile transfer service. Write this toll-free number down. 888-369-3320. Lab-tested, mold and pesticide-free. It's the Ant Farm's convenience you'll try, but quality standards, privacy, and friendly professionals that will bring you back. The Ant Farm comes to you. Call for discreet details right away. 888-369-3320. This is the Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
Walking down the sidewalk, kicking my feet as I'm moving to the music. Step to the beat. I woke up today, canceled all my plans, and I stepped right outside with my guitar in my hands, and the notes became loud as the sound caressed the air, and I kicked it up a notch as I strolled without a care, 'cause I'm going down the road to a brand new place, and I'll get there with a smile on my face. Yeah, so lift me up. I'm moving on, singing and dancing while I play my song. Yeah, I'm having a good time, keeping it going. Come on, clap your hands and won't you sing along? And now let's take it up high. Give our dreams their wings to fly. Gotta keep the fire, keep the fire burning, keep the hope alive. You gotta keep it turning.
All right, welcome. Hey, everybody, how you doing? This is Genesee County Compassion Club show. Thanks for joining us.
How's it going?
Got a full audience in the studio today. Eric, introduce our guest, please.
Rick Thompson, editor of 4M Magazine, and Jamie Lowell with MAC Association of Compassion Centers.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having us on, guys. We appreciate it.
Thanks for coming, guys. It's great to have you on the show today. We got a lot of interesting stuff that we want to share with our viewers out there. If you don't know it, Rick and Jamie are just at the pinnacle of the movement and being involved in every step. They are in the know, and so we're going to be just grilling these guys today and finding out what's going on here in the state of Michigan with medical marijuana. Before we get into that, we want to just go through our regular club announcements, let you know what's happening down at the Genesee County Compassion Club. I also want to give a shout out to our buddies over there at the Connoisseur. Good buddies over there, and Eric, of course, representing.
Thanks, guys.
All right, and also want to say thank you to Jules Market for being a sponsor here at Flint Talk Radio. Stop down on the east side over here at Flint, Jules Market, get yourself a tasty deli sandwich, and support the locals.
Yummy.
All right? All right, for club announcements, Chad, what do we got going on, my man?
First of all, we got classes coming up. This month, we got January 23rd, which is going to be a Monday. From 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., we have Concentrates class. That's with Ramona. It's a 2-part class. Class is excellent to take. Everyone that's taken it so far has appreciated the class.
Did they concentrate?
Yes, they all do. They're fully concentrated once they're in the class. The class is actually fun enough and educational enough at the same time where you do want to concentrate. I took the class. I think I was actually her first class that she ever taught there. I think I took that one.
It's funny, when people come in the club now, you can identify those who have taken the class and those who have not.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Well, the next class, too, is if you guys aren't to the concentrate parts, but you're still in the growing stage, we have the Horticultural 101 class. That's going to be January 27th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., and that's a great class. Everything from seed propagation, cloning, all the way up to the finishing growing process. It's a great class. Just come and check it out. Besides that, right now, last night we had our philanthropy meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Tuesday, Activist Tuesday. Starts at 6:30.
That's right. Come on now.
Philanthropy meeting. We started picking up a new project. We're going to be doing the North End Soup Kitchen again. This time it's going to be February 21st and 24th.
2 days.
Yes, which means we're going to need people to sign up for 2 days of helping out. And then also this time, is our second time going down the North End Soup Kitchen. I set a personal goal to try to personally, achieve with the club, obviously. I'd like to try to raise enough money to sponsor both days we're there. And it's only $500 a day, but the whole $500 for 1 day actually covers the food for all the meals at all 4 soup kitchens in Genesee County.
Right.
Which is amazing. Yeah, and they just lost 75% of their funding from the state this year.
Wow, that's tragic.
Actually, I take that more this year.
Right.
Which is terrible. So, instead of doing like your normal food drive and such, we're going to have more of the foam cutouts of the sparkly little hearts. You can do a personal Valentine. There are donations for those. We're going to be hanging them up as decoration inside the club. If you want to come in and check one out, go ahead and do it. And then also this month we're also going to be doing all of our wall tiles that we do. We do those on donation base also. You can come in, you can put some art up, or you can sign whatever you want, bring in some some art, picture work.
Help decorate the club.
Help decorate it. And that also, for right now, into the North End Soup Kitchen adventure, all the money for those will also be going towards that also. So 2 things helping raise money for this adventure, and hopefully we hit our goal.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, that's feeding out a whole lot of different people, 4 different centers across Flint, and our goal is to try to raise at least enough money to help provide meals for the total of those 2 days. And these soup kitchens, they serve food every day of the week, every week of the year. So, we need organizations like ours and others and support from the community to keep these things running, because there's a lot of people that do depend on those for a meal, and that's the only meal they'll get for that day.
Well, at this time, the need is greater than it. Point, the support system that the government used to provide is at its lowest level ever. So community involvement is the only way these programs can exist. And I think that we measure our society based on how we treat those least able to defend themselves as opposed to how much we give those that are most able to defend themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree. Good example. Very good.
And I know that a lot of people right now are going to be getting hit at tax time as well. There's a lot of income credits that were taken away, especially from low-income families. And so where there may have been a bonus normally at this time of year, might not quite be there this year. So it's going to raise the need. We definitely need to try to help support each other.
We're still waiting for something to trickle down.
Yeah.
Still waiting.
It'll happen one of these days.
Kind of like waiting for snow right now, right? Bring it rain. Somebody's going to bring it rain. It's supposed to be here. It's normally here.
That's right. That's very nice of it.
All right, so what else we got going on? Anything else down at the club?
Next week we have our political meeting.
Yes.
Yes.
Now Tuesday.
Yes, you really want to get involved with that meeting right now. If you're really passionate about this movement, come in next Tuesday. We're going to talk about other things you can get involved with also here shortly, but for right now, if you're in the local area and you're already a member of the club, or if you want to come down and become a member, next Tuesday is a prime day to come in, because right now is the political season. So come down, get involved, and we're going to talk about more here shortly, so just give us a minute. But besides that, the club, we actually had testing last week also. Our second. And we actually doubled our testing numbers the second time around. We did 50-plus tests on last Saturday, which is amazing. That's just showing that all of the caregivers and all the patients are finding out what they actually have in their hand.
We really need to make sure that people that have the compromised immune systems and some of those other illnesses that make them more vulnerable to molds and things that are not always visible from the naked eye, that we don't expose them accidentally. And we don't want to create more problems than we solve with our medicine.
Correct. Absolutely.
A lot of the lawmakers take this issue a little bit more seriously when they hear that the medicine is being tested and it's...
Yeah, it's legitimacy.
Sure. The science exists and it's available.
What I like about it is the fact that, there's no law or regulation that says that we have to test, but yet you see the entire movement in the industry taking the initiative to do it and be self-regulated. I think that's superb.
Self-regulation.
Absolutely.
That's because unlike pharmaceutical companies, we're not about profit, we're actually about the patients and ourselves. They're actually patients also.
And that
goes a long ways.
And think about it this way too, when a caregiver is trying to really hone his skills down and he's trying to provide the best services to his patients, but gathering the science and the data to be able to do that analytical test and to understand the different things. There's things that I learned so much from Saturday. I had 2 of my strains tested. I'm proud to say those are my first 2 strains ever tested. First time I ever did testing ever.
That's got to be exciting.
Oh, I was pumped, man. I mean, and I got the results right here, and it's like awesome because like I didn't know that they actually tested for pesticide levels too, and that goes to show you how well you're doing your final rinsing and all that to flush out your plants before harvest.
That's right.
So it gives you an understanding in a diagram to go off of. So and my test came really good. I had really
Tell us
great.
about your test.
Oh well, I got the test results right here.
All right, break them out.
All right.
Now you can get these tests. We are having Applied Analytics come back to the club on the following Saturday.
Every Saturday until further notice.
Right.
So for right now, just plan every Saturday.
Normally they'll give you the test results right there on site. But in fact, last Saturday they got kind of backed up. So in fact, we're waiting on some of the results today. I know that we got the FedEx package in the mail.
But what a good problem to have, right? So
Well, you know, and it's not like the state. You only have to wait 3 days.
Nice job.
But you know, but just show us what you got there.
Well, okay. For example, like on a pesticide level.
Well, hold
okay.
on. What'd you have tested?
Oh, I had my Big Bud, my Blue Widow.
Okay,
Nice.
so the strain is Big Bud.
Big Bud.
All right.
Okay, probably know if we
How
can.
beautiful that little thing was.
Yeah, it's a nice little printout that you get here. It's real nice.
Yeah,
got
very
professional.
The
Back.
graphs on the back are
You
very
got pictures, nice microscope pictures. You got a 100 power, a 400 power magnification.
I like that right there too. It says expires in 90 days.
Right.
It's an excellent thing to add to that because and most things, you know, related with holistic medicine is only good for 90 days. Non-holistic medicine is only good for 30 days. So this follows your normal holistic medicine approach, and it keeps it pretty legit, which I really like that.
I do too. And for the pesticide levels, you don't want to be above a 30. If you're above a 30, you're not doing a proper rinse, or you're not using RO water, which gets it out. A lot of well waters and things like that have already stuff in it, so it
Or
doesn't.
even things that are used as a foliar, or even that can attach to the outside of the flower.
Yes.
Will also increase that number as
Right,
well.
right.
A lot of commercially
Excellent.
available products that people don't really understand the consequence of using fully. They're attracted by an attractive label or whatever, or a salesperson, and then there's a consequence later. But this helps you to diagnose what works for you and what doesn't work.
Sure,
Right, Eric?
exactly. And for example, like even on the High Times testing results that they got in Detroit this year, there were some that won the awards, but yet their pesticide levels were a little bit on the edge of not adequate. But here, like for example, he said above a 30 is getting poor. You need to do a proper rinse better. If you're in the 20s, it's pretty good. If you're in the teens, that's good. If you're in the single digits, that's excellent. He said, but no test that they do is below a 5. So you have to add for a little bit of a buffer there anyway.
What that is that's anything that is not naturally a part of the flower itself.
Right.
So that could be, dust just simply
Sure.
from the room, or anything that could attach it.
Something from the soil composition that's been taken up by the plant and stored in its cells, and which is reflected then in the flower
in
itself.
the plant and then on the plant.
Right. Their nutrients, even if they're using some of these organic labeled nutrients, a lot of them still contain minerals in them, and the minerals is what actually makes something non-organic. People don't realize this. You can go buy something that was organically raised, but once they introduce a mineral to it, no matter what it is, it's no longer organic technically. So that right there, anything you put in your water that takes up, what I'm saying? Like he was saying, hard water, minerals in it. Anything you take up like that is not good for you.
Well, and the RO water that was mentioned, reverse osmosis, is a process that everybody can do in their home. It's a little more time consuming, but when you're looking at the results that Eric's showing us here on paper, when you're talking about presenting this to a patient and saying, this is my certification that I actually have medicine, not just marijuana, then you want to take every single step that's possible and available to you at less or no expense in order to achieve that result. And it certainly looks like these numbers say that you've done an excellent job.
Right, I know it. Thank you.
Well, I think it's good you can show that to your patient. It gives them dependability.
Yes.
And saying, all right, now I know, not only do I know is it doesn't have pesticides, but I also can have an idea of what kind of medicine am I getting. Because as you can see on there, he's got 3 different types of cannabinoids that are. There's also CBD and CBN.
Right.
And these we've already found from the results here, and based on seeing which patients come in and select what type of cannabis, we've seen that that is very important. Not every patient is necessarily seeking the high THC. They're seeking maybe one that has a higher CBD level.
Right.
And some of the strains that have those may not have as high of a THC content. But it is making a difference so that patients can select what works best for them, and that's kind of the neat part.
And then the caregiver can then select or suggest to other patients what worked for someone in the past. So by networking amongst ourselves, that knowledge of one becomes knowledge of all.
Sure. And the other thing too is that these things are also going to vary significantly by strain and genetics. And so, for example, like CBN, I noticed that there was a test at the G3C when I was there that day that. CBN, and that shows that they didn't let it go long enough. It's full maturity. So this gives that person an idea. Okay, well, just because I'm growing reach full maturity at the same time of other strains do. So it just means that person knows that particular strain that they had, they fell a little bit short on prematurely, so they need to let it go a little bit longer to get the full effect of it. And the CBD count actually had fairly big. Excellent one. Yeah, he said the average is between 0.05 and 0.45 is average. Okay. If you're above that, like Chad's LA was, that's you're really above average. I think you got into 1%, didn't you?
I think it was 1%. Yes.
Yeah, that's excellent for especially because you still.
CBNs were a little high though too. It was like 0.5 or 0.4.
Okay.
Yeah, same as you.
Right, but for a CBD number to be high while you still maintain a high THC number is very significant. So in his particular case with that strain, that's very good. But it just gives me an idea of my strains. Most people would think, I have a good roundabout idea of what it's going to test at, and I thought I did too. Okay, but the results come back staggering because, in my opinion, I thought that my Blue Widow was going to score higher on the THC when in fact it did not. So I was quite surprised. I mean, my Blue Widow, although my other scores come out very well in comparison to the averages, but I was surprised that my THC level was lower than on my Big Bud. I thought the other way around. I thought the one strain was going to be higher THC than the other, but I was completely wrong. So that comes back as quite a shocker, and so it will to anybody whoever has their stuff tested for the very first time, because there's things that obviously there's a science there that I can't see or test with my own senses.
Right.
Well, we know that there's certain chemicals that are present, flavonoids and terpenoids, that contribute to the beautiful bouquet that we experience when we consume cannabis, and that it's not just a single chemical. This is where the failure of a chemical like a Marinol or like a Sativex comes in, because they try and duplicate one single chemical component of a symphony that we have. So when we test this, what works really best for Eric may not work really best for Rick Thompson, simply because we have different ailments and our bodies respond differently.
You bring up a good point, Rick. One of the things I've been interested in noticing on the test is that you may have a strain that is an indica or a sativa, however, yet the THC, CBD, CBNs don't really vary that much.
Seem different,
but the effect could be quite different in the patient. So we really don't know yet what those differences come from, whether it be a terpene or a flavonoid or some type of cannabinoid that we don't even test yet. Maybe it's a CBV or something. We don't know.
Sure, right.
Individual body chemistry could be tuned to different things too. We may have an overabundance or a lack of something with our own bodies.
Well. Those things are beginning to be tested. There are some new testing procedures out there, like with acoustic wave technology and things.
But still being an emerging technology.
They got the Bose stereo and.
But you will see you'll see a learning curve as this becomes more and more ingrained into the society here. You'll find that we get better and better within the next 12 months, within the next 24 months. Similar to almost any other technology. As it improves, we all benefit from that.
It's quite amazing. We happen to run, this is off topic just a little bit, but we happen to run across a for sale sheet from a pharmaceutical company, and it was broken down of individual cannabinoid compounds. And you could see like the price sheet list and everything and so on. It was quite interesting.
Yeah. Wow.
And then they were trying to purchase single cannabinoids as well. So it was pretty fascinating. You think like, here we are trying to do our testing, and then you've got somehow companies got the.
But we need synergy. That's what we're proving. You can't isolate things.
I'm waiting for actually with the terpenes.
like they separate terpenes from other plants, with supercritical machines and other forms of N-butane and such. They've been doing it forever to make perfumes and such.
Right.
But since cannabis is legal for certain people now, I'm wondering if people are going to start extracting certain terpenes and actually harvesting the smells.
Well, you notice that delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol is the substance specifically named in most Controlled Substances Act. The terpenes and flavonoids are completely different chemistry.
Yep.
So it would be difficult to say that class of chemicals was going to be outlawed because you would affect the aroma industry, as you mentioned. A lot of harvesting of that stuff goes on through natural botanics. All the oils, extracts, some of the aromatherapies that we do are all dependent upon the ability to harvest those from different things and then combine them together to make new, unique, and copyrightable compounds. That's really what it's all about, is someone copywriting or trademarking that formula in order to make money. And when someone from the cannabis community can do that, and then they get to be billionaires, they can fund all of our projects.
Yes.
Let's make that happen.
One last thing before we move on. I just wanted to point out too on this test that that my strain that come out with the higher THC had less of a cosmetic appeal. Okay, it's the ugly child. Okay, for lack of a better explanation. And we even see that even in my the pictures of both the trichomes at 400 magnification and even the vegetative material at 100 magnification. If you look at the comparison of the other strain, my Blue Widow, it just has a prettier look. The trichomes look better. The flower itself looks better, and the flower has more dense flowery material and less vegetative material and green leaf matter than the big bud. But however, even though the one looked cosmetically better, it tested lower in THC levels.
Okay.
So
actually, for you to go by sight then.
Right. So don't underestimate the ugly stepchild.
Also, whenever I see tests,
Jimmy life philosophy right there.
We've certainly seen at our place, and I'm sure you guys have too, somebody gets something that maybe in your opinion wasn't the most desirable, but comes back and says it was the perfect thing for them.
Yep. Right. Yeah. And think about this too. Even if we're, you want to exclude some of the, let's say you came back and your results showed you had a bit of a high pesticide level. Well, there's still vaporization that you get that, still you can in other forms, in different that can still remove and isolate the medicine from the stuff that you don't want to. So whether or not you have a plant that's less cosmetically appealing, there's still extraction methods like the extraction classes coming up with the G3C. It's a very vital one. I love making hash and all that out of that kind of material that is less desirable. You know what I'm saying, as far as cosmetic appeal.
Here's the thing I did when I got my stuff tested. I didn't know where I was going to stand at, and what I just did here for you, buddy, is you cross-reference online with like Colorado, California, all these places. A lot of these places test, and they keep records and they publish them. And like an average, an average of THCA, you actually scored higher than this one of the higher ranking ones of was it the Blue Jay?
Very nice.
Yeah, right. Their THC is a little bit higher, but you had a higher CBN, so in a total THCA, you're higher.
Yeah,
and so you really you think sometimes that you don't do that well because it's not a huge number. But when you compare it to the average out there of what's really going on, and you can see it because everyone's testing their stuff, you realize that you're not far off, and you can see on how well you're doing compared to other areas.
Underscores the validity of the Michigan caregiver system by having a lot of people be able to do individual grows in their particular homes or in their particular environments. We expand our knowledge base exponentially, and we become just as good as the Colorado, as the California, as the European suppliers. And that's the essential need to maintain the caregiver base. We cannot let Lansing or anybody else erode and take away the ability for us to individually produce medication. We have to fight to keep the law itself as is written.
Absolutely.
Very crucial.
Yeah, I love the fact of being able to go to the G3C and have the so many caregivers and patients there with so many different strains, with such a variety of testing, that we get to look at those comparison numbers and go, wow, okay, there's things I didn't know about this strain, there's things I didn't know about this, and then this grower has something to teach me that I was doing wrong. And like Rick said, we have a lot to learn from each other, and it's moving fast.
It's kind of neat. The one thing about testing I was kind of proud of is the guy who said that our little batch of people that had run tests through there was the highest group of test he ran.
High as
highest average numbers. Yes.
I think it is because of the fact that we do just sit there and share info a lot. And that really does help each other.
Use good information, put it to use, and create better material.
And this is why we have to stand up against the concept of a marijuana bar or legislation that stops us from being able to gather together in order to be patients in one facility at one time, because the social aspect of this is more important to us in the time when we're fighting for our own civil rights than it would be for someone that takes a Vicodin, because there's no civil rights violation when you pop a pill, but there is a civil rights violation when we medicate at times. So we have a need to generate and to join together that other types of medication don't. So we have to use these type of reasoning when people say you don't have to gather, there's no reason. We can cite examples of positivity from those interactions at all time. And as Eric was mentioning prior to us coming on the air, cite me examples of negative. Where's the statistics of people getting it that they're not licensed? The damage in automobile accidents. There's no proof of negative consequences.
The reason for the Attorney General would be absolutely obsessed and everything and all the allocation of resources.
Smoke and mirrors on this whole clearing the air.
Talking about state issues, guys. We had a court case. Now, Rick and Jamie were both filling us in here before the show started, but we had a court case that went on today, and it was one that the Attorney General was involved in. Is that correct?
Sure. Go ahead,
guys. Tell us about it.
Shakina Pena, owner of Your Healthy Choice in Lansing, was trying to encourage people to register to vote, and as an incentive, she was offering a half a gram of medicine, and then she was also posting
to qualified patients, right?
To qualified patients only. Yeah, that's what she's all about. Your Healthy Choice.
She wasn't just giving away weed to the guy on the street to sign up to vote, right?
It's all within our definition of what allows the the thing to work. And she posted, I think, a few people's names of politicians who she preferred. She wasn't necessarily buying a vote for the people. She has no control over the people.
No, she's registering. She was doing not taking a vote.
Well, the lawyer, what we would normally think of as good behavior.
Matt Newberg today, the lawyer in the case, made a comment that it was similar to just a voting registration drive. That's essentially what it was.
Kind of like Acorn, but not as bad.
And some of the
but definitely not as bad.
Just not as bad.
Pierce said she didn't do anything wrong at all. And in fact, at the closing arguments, Matt Newberg said if there were hot dogs instead of marijuana.
That's right. So she's giving away hot dogs to patients
to register to vote.
Or medicine in this case.
Or a button, or a sticker, or any of those other promotional literature
that somebody's allowed to have.
As long as it's not cash. This is the one that Rick Jones personally was attacking this particular case.
That's very true.
And antagonizing the story as to say, like, how dare they give away weed to get people to entice them to influence voters. And that's not what was happening. She was registering people to vote and giving away some cannabis to qualified patients.
Voting registration drive for her patient base.
So the court case was ruled in her favor.
Well, now the other significant thing is that this was not Stuart Dunnings, the prosecutor of Ingham County. This was the Attorney General himself who prosecuted this case.
Really? Wow. Okay.
And a jury of 6 people, I believe, in this case. She was not guilty. It was a misdemeanor. She wasn't up against major jail time.
Right. She wasn't being tried for manufacture or for delivery or anything like that.
But it was the point. She fought it and she won, and that is awesome. And that's the Attorney General's using the courts to fight his own personal enemies, and he's using our money. Our tax
and a misdemeanor charge too, right? You just said
he joined the case in Chesterfield as a plaintiff, and that's just a civil suit in circuit court.
And he gets paid salary just to go around and do what he wants all day, right? And like he's wasting our money, we pay him.
And he has a big old staff to do it too. He's got a lot of people that work underneath.
Like a misdemeanor, wasn't it? A multi-murder or something like that. It's a misdemeanor.
Jeez. Yeah, it's like he. You could obviously see that he is leading a crusade to stoop down to that level of a misdemeanor to interject his opinion in that.
But at all the angles, he takes every conceivable method he can. He writes his opinion letters. He gets involved in these court cases by amicus or prosecuting himself or joining as a plaintiff. He influences the Court of Appeals. He influences the legislature. He does everything he can. That's why just to be off track just for a second, but one of the things that we're doing right now is going around and let people know of all the efforts that are taking place around the state, the LLEP efforts, lowest level enforcement priority, like just statewide initiative for the constitutional amendment to repeal prohibition, working in the legislature, what's happening in these courts and things like that. They're all important. We need to hit them with as many angles as possible from our side as well, and that's
absolutely.
You guys have something you guys are going around, and you guys have a program you guys are doing right now, right?
Well, the VGIP, which is the Vote Green Initiative Project, is a statewide effort in order to build an infrastructure through which candidates that support civil rights actions and marijuana law reform can find support on a statewide level, on a local level. We can support local ordinance laws. We can support local candidates like Kerry Justice running in the 61st District. Go Kerry! So the important thing is to set up a structure of activists and volunteers and get a bunch of email addresses of people that when you need action done in a particular area, they can show up and get that thing done. It's too late in July. It's too late in August if the election's in November. This has to be done at this time. Yes. And people are showing up in great numbers in order to support this. In fact, for all of the listeners in Flint Talk Radio Land, we have an effort tonight at 5:30 at Empire Walk in Lapeer. Everyone's welcome to come on down and learn more about it. You don't necessarily have to be a cannabis user in order to participate in these either. Mm-hmm. We see a lot of civil rights issues going on right now, and people that are just generally dissatisfied with the way things are going in Michigan have an opportunity to come out and find a similar audience there, and you can link up with other people and learn about more organizations, and then open up an opportunity for your voice and your vote to really make a difference.
I would say that we're focusing on medical marijuana at these things because we are kind of an advocacy group, and that's what we're of. But these tools can be used for whatever issue somebody really has a passion about.
And when we lose some rights, we lose them all.
Yeah, you talk about networking. When you network with people, you establish a framework that goes beyond your own personal system. We've seen how certain people on Facebook and certain people on Twitter that are crucial. They have these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of friends. When they post something of significance, it goes viral, and then it's an opportunity for this to be picked up on around the state, around the nation, and for really one message to be delivered to an immediate number of households without being filtered by the traditional media, the CBSs and the ABCs out there. This is an exciting time for us to be alive. I remember in the 80s, and I hate to go back to my history, but 1983, I was standing on the corner of Saginaw and Detroit Street, right north of Flint here, because I'm a Flint Central High School graduate, with Michael Moore, standing at Veterans Memorial Park, protesting Latin American intrusion and the Nicaraguan death squads. Then we didn't have Twitter. We didn't have Facebook. You got on your rotary phone, all right, no mobiles, all right, for those kids out there that they've always existed. They did at one point. And you really had to rally the troops the old-fashioned way.
Right.
Now we have information transfer and a receptive audience. It's never been like that before. It's an exciting time.
It is an exciting time.
Speaking of that, do you guys actually have a way, besides the one you just shot out for tomorrow, or tonight, do you guys have another, like a web page or some way people can hop on, check out what's coming up, keep up with you guys?
BigMac.com,
right.
BIGMACC.com. We also are involved in a lot of the more popular listservs and things like that. We typically get information out on those.
And if you want to study up on the constitutional amendment to end prohibition, that would be repealtoday.org, www.repealtoday.org.
And I heard that is available on that now?
Yes, it is. On the website. It was up last night.
So if you want to read the proposed change to the amendment, this is for the repeal of prohibition. You can check that out, read it, and if you have concerns about that or whatnot, we need to take a look at these things. I mean, it's time we stop putting people away for things petty things. We need to change policies here, and this is a start.
Yep. Right. And there is an LLEP effort going on in Flint, and Tim Beck will be there tonight to discuss that. A lot of the same guys.
Tim Beck will be at the Lapeer.
Will be at the Lapeer meeting tonight.
Excellent.
As will Jim Campbell, CPA. He's actually the treasurer for the campaign for this statewide initiative.
Okay.
And we'll have a couple of lawyers there, Attorney Bruce Leach of this area actually, and O'Brien from Lansing, who just put on a seminar a little while ago and is involved in a few medical marijuana cases.
There's a very interesting event that's going on here in Flint too, on Saturday the 21st at the University of Michigan Flint. In French Hall, Greg Francisco is going to be conducting a seminar on how to write effective letters to the editor. This is sponsored by the Occupy Flint people. And it's free and open to the public, I believe. Donations, I'm assuming, would be accepted by someone to support
Greg
that.
Greg does a great job of these things.
And this is, again, once an opportunity for you to come without having to travel great distance to learn a great skill to be able to transfer your feelings and your beliefs to a medium that still actually listens to us. And although we sometimes think of newspapers as just this thing that comes on our porch at the end of the day, the online version, the e-version of most newspapers, newspapers is huge and extensive. The Detroit Free Press just won a national award for having a great online version too, and the Flint Journal has a good one too through the M Live. They publish a lot more letters in the online version than they actually have space to publish in print. And sometimes people are discouraged about writing letters to the editor that only 6 or 7 of them get published on a regular basis. But online now, almost everything you write has an opportunity to be heard. And you specifically, if you would like to build a reputation for yourself as an activist, one of the best ways to start getting recognition is to be an organized letter writer that communicates effectively and sends to the right markets for your message.
Right. And I don't know if you've seen it, his name. I mean, even if you're not in the movement, you've probably seen Greg's name because he's done so many letters to the editors. He's very well written, so he's always a great read anyways. But he has been just a faithful person for this movement for years now, and one of the ways he's been effective is by doing these letters to the editor.
And he comes from a far distance too. He's on the west side of the state. He's a Lake Michigan kind of guy at this point. So I like the way you did that. In other words, mitten, right? But the fact is, anybody that wants to come to this area to bring their information and share it for somebody at no cost to themselves or no benefit for them, you always have to respect that dedication and commitment because it's rare to find nowadays.
Absolutely, for sure. So we got the meeting tonight.
Yes.
There's a meeting on the 21st, U of M, and then also we want to mention Carry Justice every Thursday meeting, and you have
at Venus, Coney Island, and Grand Blanc.
There we go.
Now there's the Wayne Symposium also too. You're familiar with
Please.
the 27th at Wayne State University. If those of you that have been in the movement for over a year remember, last January there was a symposium at Wayne State University, and there's a second version. I'm sorry, in August
of
2009.
Yeah, it was a couple years ago.
So the Wayne State University Law Department is having a symposium which is open to the public and free. That is on the 27th. It's at 8 o'clock in the morning in Detroit at Wayne State University. Now that is a restricted admission, which means there's only 130 spots available.
Okay, so you got to get your tickets.
Or you can just do a reservation online. You simply go online and click on the thing, give them your email address, and they'll send you a confirmation. So you don't ever have to leave your home in order to get the tickets or use a credit card. So it's very easy to do, but if you're not able to attend, please don't reserve that spot because there are a lot of activists that are trying to get into that. There are also a lot of people from the other side, too. This is not just a marijuana seminar from our perspective. This will be Mike Cox, the former Attorney General, the man that held the office before Bill Schuette, will be a keynote speaker.
Really?
So this is fantastic to see a guy who for 2 years administered the Michigan medical marijuana problem without screwing with our people.
Yeah,
right? The guy who set the standard that was violated in January last year.
He's well informed, and despite what his service may or may not have been as Attorney General, I know that he's been very well informed in the movement since his former service, his public office.
And he's a Republican, so he's not just He's not just going to roll over to take our position. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what he has to say about the situation today and the Attorney General.
Well, he essentially took a local option kind of a position without formally making an opinion on it. He left it up to individual areas.
Right.
That's why it's so important for people like yourself who have kind of stayed local and held down the fort. And that's happened all over the state. And wherever somebody's held that glue together, it's really shown up because it's more important than ever. For
I think honestly a lot of that has been left up into local interpretation because of the fact there have been other places, other organizations that have gone out and tried to establish something and done it the right way and were attacked. Yeah. And then had no recourse, had no support, and really were just left to the dogs, so to speak, and that's unacceptable.
I think so too.
When we have the law.
We would like to see the legislature formally recognize the local option. So if municipality choose or not choose to allocate commercial space for dispensing activity or for cultivation activity. Of course, they have to let the patients' caregivers do it in their city, in their homes, and things like that. But they really, collectively as a community, do not want that activity. They don't have to have it. So Flint will benefit from it. Or something along those lines. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I'll show you an example of local support in action right now. Local option and support. The police officers in a couple of different raids have made their statements. In Blue Water, Tuscola County issued search warrants for 3 different facilities in 3 different counties. In one county, Sanilac County, they absolutely refused to participate with those search warrants, and the Attorney General's office was forced to bring in Michigan State Police to execute that. Similarly, in Lansing with the Danny Trevino Hydro World situation, the Attorney General wanted the local prosecutor to take down this guy, and he refused to do so, forcing the Attorney General to take direct action himself. So it's not just individuals from the medical marijuana community that believe that local individuals should have the right to decide to what degree they participate, provided there's certain guarantees out there. Even law enforcement who's traditionally just followed along in lockstep form with them are now disputing that.
And if this happens, then, for example, in Flint or in Ypsilanti, where we just had our license renewed for 2012, in Lansing, where they're preparing licenses, in Ann Arbor, where they're preparing licenses, and I know they're in Burton, they're very good about it and stuff like that. These places then who have been licensed and regulated by the local municipality will then automatically be recognized on a statewide level, so that you don't have that shooty just trumping all the the lower
stepping over and choosing his own.
And more important than that, we don't have that confusion about what's a compassion club versus what's a compassion center. There are distribution centers that are recognized as that, but there are also clubs that are not doing that particular activity, but are also equally vilified, even though they don't deserve it.
Correct.
Even though they're just nonprofit organizations of people getting together like a Lions Club, an Eagles, or an Elks.
Right.
They're lumped together because it's easier for law enforcement to paint us all with one brush instead of individually determining fault or effort. In Lansing, we saw that they went through after the compassionate.
Right.
Regardless of whether or not these individual
How they
facilities
set
had
up
a
or
business
what they
model that
were
comported
working.
to that.
Right.
So it was quite ridiculous for them to take people that didn't have any violations whatsoever and discard them, especially after
Absolutely, taking such a narrow decision on such a particular case,
Right.
and then broadly applying it to such a wide spectrum of businesses and organizations and services that were being provided, and just with a broad sweep, closing them all. And it seems like such a oversight.
It was.
And so it's good to see that Lansing now is starting to, like you said, look at relicensing. We've seen places opening back up because they do need to have a local option, and there wasn't issues with their involvement as far as causing crime elevations or anything like that. It was,
and people like Shekinah that are taking it all the way to force a jury trial, a trial by your peers, are the ones that are having success, we're finding. Because I don't think a jury of your peers in the state of Michigan today, if they're able to hear medical marijuana, I don't think they convict a caregiver. I don't think they convict a patient. I don't think they convict a business. I don't think they do it. And I think that everyone else agrees with us, and that's why Oakland County's been so tight on not letting anybody use medical marijuana in the cases they prosecute.
Well, and we've actually seen that multiply around the state and other counties as well, and that similar feat of being able to deny someone the medical marijuana defense on the grounds that somehow they were breaking the rules, and whether or not it was a dispute. It really isn't left up to a jury to decide, unfortunately.
Well, I just want to add too, in Lansing, one of the organizations that put a lot of money into becoming compliant with the requirements of the licensing and all the insurance and the fees for that and the build-outs and the security systems, and they spent quite a lot of money to get up to snuff. And then they were told that because of McQueen, they couldn't operate anymore, and they didn't, in their opinion, didn't operate in a way that related to the McQueen ruling, as a lot of us feel.
Right.
And so they did sue, and they sued for damages and a declaratory judgment, and on that issue, saying that they provide packaging of the cannabis, and they provide consultation, and they charge for that service fee. They give the medicine away.
Right.
And a judge so far during the course of the oral argument seems very agreeable with that argument, and we're expecting a ruling this month.
Oh, very good. Very good. We'll be interested to hear more on that. And I'm glad to see we'll be hearing their case here on the 12th. Tomorrow. And hearing two different cases. This is the King case and the Kolinek case. Both different issues. One was the enclosed locked facility. We'll see what the Supreme Court has to say about that regarding our law. And then the other one will be on the I guess really the Kolinek case is the one that probably is going to be a little bit more confusing for the general public to understand, but this is more of a technicality of, when does a person qualify for the program, and at what time does the protection of the law apply to them, or not apply to them in this case. So we'll have yet to see how these play out, and then we'll, I guess the question that we were discussing before the show started is, we have seen some rulings in the past in lower courts involving specific cases the ruling itself being very broad and covering many different spectrums of the law. And then we see these two cases now that the Supreme Court is looking at viewing actually being very minor, or I don't want to say minor, but very narrowly focused issues, such as the enclosed locked secured facility. What exactly is this? Grounds to, what is the definition of an enclosed, locked, secured facility? The Supreme Court is going to have to look at that. What we don't know is, are they going to look at a broader spectrum of the law, also involving the Kulinek case, certainly taking it up on the same day. So how broad is their decisions going to be when they look at these two cases? How many different things are they going to look at? And that's going to be interesting, I think.
This is one of the things that just proves that the way that the law was done with the voter-directed initiative was the right thing to do in 2008. Because it didn't go all the way through the legislature, was not as flushed out as traditional legislation is, doesn't have all the T's crossed, doesn't have all the I's dotted, because it's supposed to be left up to the interpretation of the people. But according to Mike Cox and Attorney General 7250, that always has to be viewed with the intent of the voters kept in mind. The intent of the voters was empowerment, not restriction. Now, if we look at the Supreme Court, and regardless of how they view these particular two cases, as long as they view that with the light that 7250 says, they have to view the voter-directed initiative with that in mind, with the intent of the voters, we should get a good result out of this. However, I don't believe the Supreme Court's going to give that kind of intention. When you have the opportunity to flesh out this law, you can do it either piecemeal, this case, this case, this case, this is how it's supposed to work, or you can make one big statement that fixes everything in your particular zone, or in your particular vision. And that, I'm afraid, is what the Supreme Court's going to do.
Well, Bob Redden and Tory Clark changed their legal teams in order to have their case withdrawn from this particular composition of the Supreme Court out of fear that because of all the issues that have been included in with their case, that we could have our law totally, essentially destroyed.
Absolutely.
And so the concern is, do they stay really narrow with these, which would be bad rulings, but they wouldn't cripple everything? Or do they take the opportunity here to try to go a little bit wider and really hurt some stuff? Now, if it looks like they're heading in a bad direction, which we think that they may, 3 of those seats are available in the elections in 2012, and we can change the composition of the Supreme Court before they start hearing some of the other subsequent really important cases that are headed their way.
There you go.
See, I think we have John, do we have a phone call?
Yes, the callers that you're expecting.
All right. Is that Brandy?
Yeah.
We have Brandy Zink on the line right now, and she's Director of Americans for Safe Access of Detroit. She's also working with the Committee for Safer Michigan for the constitutional amendment to repeal marijuana prohibition. She is tirelessly working down there with Matt Abel's office, and is a part of his inner office group there. Brandy, are you there? One second, Brandy. We're going to turn you up. Hold on a second. One second, Brandy. We're going to turn up the volume here so that we can hear you.
But it was a great introduction Eric gave you, though. Well, it's nice.
I think with their headphones next.
Brandy, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, great. And I'm also here with Mr. Abel.
Nice. Oh, Abel's there too. Hello, Matt.
Fantastic. Brandy, I just want to also clue you in as to who's in the studio with us right now in Flint Talk Radio. We have Jeremy Rapinski, Chad Druth, Jamie Lowell, and Rick Thompson, and myself. So welcome to the show, Brandy and Matt Abel. How you guys doing?
Hey, good afternoon.
Fantastic.
John, can you hear him back there? All right, fantastic. So
well, tell us, either one of you, give us a little bit of more in-depth on the Committee for Safer Michigan and the initiative to move forward to remove marijuana prohibition in Michigan.
Well, we're still collecting volunteers. We have over 1,300 volunteers. We're shooting for 2,000 in the next week or so. And you can volunteer at www.repealtoday.org. We are trying to rush the printer to give us some early copies. The Board of Canvassers still has to meet to approve this, but we're confident it will be, and we want to, go right ahead with it.
Excellent. Matt, I didn't know you were on the line also, so I'm going to go ahead and give you a proper introduction as well. For our listening audience out there that doesn't know, Matt Abel is one of the top leading attorneys in the state of Michigan, who's been working tirelessly to change the course of history here in cannabis laws for a long time. I'm sure far beyond even before I was born, Matt, who knows. But I mean that in a compliment, Matt, not in a negative way, sir. But but I just want you to know that you're well known, well respected, and you are the director of Michigan NORML. Is that correct? And also director of the Committee for Safer Michigan.
That's correct. I am director of both of those. One organization and the other a ballot question committee.
Excellent.
We're hoping that by and through this constitutional amendment that perhaps the necessity of NORML won't be there for repeal of marijuana laws and prohibition, and that's what this is about. So we're hoping to accomplish our mission and move on to do something wonderful like clean the environment.
Right on. I don't think that NORML would actually be disappointed to know that their 40-year-long motivation
their goal from the start was really to go extinct.
Exactly.
It would be a hell of a party, wouldn't it?
I mean, that's sort of the culmination of their purpose.
Exactly.
So I say cheers.
Exactly.
Right? That would be the best thing in the world is to not have to have NORML.
Exactly.
Wouldn't that be the point of it?
Exactly.
Of course,
Right?
Matt would then be shifting his focus too, because he wouldn't have to defend these people anymore.
We can move on to more drug policy change.
Right.
Other important things. Well, Matt and Brandy, tell us more about what's going on. I know you said you had 1,300 volunteers. We need to get more volunteers.
We still have a place, and still on the federal level. So we have a lot of work to do in this next year, and I want to urge everyone to please visit our webpage, repealtoday.org, register as a volunteer, and please, we need contributions. We cannot do this without your help and without your generous contribution. So please visit repealtoday.org, and you can make your contribution payable to Committee for a Safer Michigan. I can't think of a better way to start the year than to write a check to Committee for a Safer Michigan and know that you helped to end prohibition in Michigan.
I agree, Brandy. That's fantastic. I take it, Matt, you will be at the Supreme Court tomorrow for to see the Supreme Court hear the cases, the two cases that are being presented there.
Yes, we're quite excited to be able to attend the Supreme Court hearing and to hear the oral arguments in the cases of King and Kolinek. And of course, it'll be months before the court issues a decision. I expect it would be months before the court issues a decision in those cases. But hopefully it'll set straight some of the things that the Court of Appeals has messed up over the last couple of years.
Hopefully, yes. Let's all hope for that. And Matt, I spoke with you Monday night at the committee. You received word that you're now being supported by the MMMA, and that you'll also be on Planet Green Trees tomorrow night. Is that correct?
Well, I can't speak for them. I mean, I don't know what their procedure is and I don't want to jump the gun, but it looks good. I mean, I think so far their attitude has been favorable to it, and I don't want to mess with that by announcing something before they're ready and comfortable with it. I understand there are some people with some issues about it in their organization, and I want to be respectful of that and not assume that, something that
I think some of the concerns here, and for our listening audience, just to address the issue, as far as endorsements and repealing prohibition, that's what we're talking about here is marijuana prohibition, repealing it. And, there's always the cross-reference of, okay, then medical marijuana is the, Trojan horse, so
stepping
on,
stone.
and so on.
Sure.
And what it really is, actually, I think a lot of the people that are in medical marijuana today feel repressed, they feel scared, And really, that's what this law was intended for originally, was to allow them respect and legitimacy in the community. And so having this pressure from the state government has really not given us the freedom that we voted for. And so I think overall, most people in the medical marijuana movement are going to feel positive towards marijuana prohibition being repealed, because ultimately it provides another layer of protection for them. And with there being currently just continually beat down and hunted in a sense, I think it's going to just propel them that much more to support a policy of prohibition being repealed.
There's the only shield left to those folks.
I know the group, vast majority in our group, in our club, and here in Genesee County are definitely going to resonate with that right there.
Absolutely. I'm sure almost all organizations will. Well, are you still going to be on Planet Green Trees tomorrow night?
Yes.
Excellent. We'll be looking forward to that. And we're plugging the show in here on Flint Talk Radio.
Rick and I will be on there tomorrow night as well.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Regular co-hosts of that particular program.
Excellent.
Every week, and I want to thank you all for that. I would like to address one thing that Jeremy said, and that there is a fear in our community of the patients here. And I want to hear that and really address that this concern is legitimate. Patients have been prosecuted and persecuted before we had our law passed, and even since we've had our law passed, we've seen an increase.
Yeah.
So I understand that this fear is very real, and it is a legitimate fear, considering the climate we're in. And we're hoping that through our public education campaign, we can help dispel the myths that surround marijuana, and people will understand that cannabis is a medicinal herb. And my feeling with the Medical Marijuana Act, the act was never fully able to be implemented. And if we look at those who are card holders versus those who are not, many of those who are not card holders would perhaps be card holders if the law would have been implemented correctly, and we could allow those new conditions like post-traumatic stress disorder.
Non-card holders might be safer.
I like to think of them as paperwork holders myself.
Section 8 patients, right?
Recognize this repeal of prohibition is going to be the best thing that could have ever happened to patients, because now we can be rest assured that the state has no reason to ever prosecute anyone for the use of cannabis.
I totally agree, Brandy. That's I agree. Totally. I'm glad you mentioned that. It's fantastic. I think also too that the Attorney General's strong opposition against the medical marijuana movement shows all the more that he is, he's leading a crusade to fight a cause that the majority of the population in Michigan does not want him focusing the resources on. And so I hope that this shows once again that the people want to point him in a different direction to say, look, we want you to go do something else. Quit wasting your time with this. Quit wasting our money with this. And quit embarrassing everybody and quit hassling everybody. And you're ruining people's lives.
Amen.
And you're invading privacy. You're trampling all over civil rights. And I think that you're absolutely right in pointing out the Medical Marijuana Act as being not implemented correctly, and that is a straight, in my opinion, slap in the face to the voters of Michigan that our voting power, that our voting voice doesn't seem to matter to the folks seemingly in charge at the moment. And we have to, I think, send them another very strong reminder that we are the people and that we make the rules. They work for us. And that and if our voice and our vote is not going to be upheld and 2008, well, we'll send you another clear message. And if you don't get it, we'll send another clear message, and we'll keep on having votings. And like Rick Thompson says, we have the utilization of technology and mass communication now to be able to bring that together and curve the system to follow us and give us what we the people want. And I appreciate you calling in, Brandy, Matt. I'm sure you guys are extremely busy folks, and I don't want to take up any more of your time if not necessary. But I really, really appreciate you guys calling in. Matt or Brandy, please, if you have the last word, feel free. Go ahead, Matt.
Thank you, Eric, and thank all of you for what you're doing. I want to empower an activist. Why I got into activism was to collect signatures, and I think that we really now have an opportunity to do something everlasting. So please visit repealtoday.org and register as a volunteer and make your contribution to a committee for a safer Michigan.
Thank you, Brandy. Thank you, Matt. You guys are two of my biggest heroes.
Excellent.
I'll talk to you later.
We'll see you tomorrow.
See ya.
Thanks for your support.
All right, excellent.
Excellent.
All right, there you go, repealtoday.org. Guys, go to that website, check it out, get involved. They do need to collect signatures. I know they're going to need help getting those collected. The only way to get that many signatures is to get them from all around the state. So every activist in the state, everybody who is going to be supportive of this, let's get involved and try to help it out. And let's forget about the debates. It's time we stop putting people away for victimless crimes. All right?
And in 2008, the ballot initiative had a lot of financial help that we're not going to have this time around.
That's right.
So it has to be more of a volunteer-based effort, which means we have to get involved with it right away. And the signatures need to be turned in by July 9th, which means you can't say, tomorrow I'll help, tomorrow I'll help. We really need the people to enroll in this program today.
And a little extra bit of information, if we learned last night that the language is with the Board of Canvassers right now. They're expecting it back any day now, and they wanted to get kicked off already, but they want to get the approval of the language first. So about the 18th, I think, is the proposed kickoff date, as long as there's no problems in between now and then.
So they have the language for it. It's been submitted. They're just waiting for the approval. As soon as it gets approved, then we can start collecting signatures. But it's important that people know about this, because this is citizenship in its finest right here. People getting involved, making a real change, and this is how it should be done.
We're collecting volunteers now to help for collecting volunteer signatures later, so please don't wait till the 18th to visit repealtoday.org, because there's
Get on repealtoday.org, give them your name and email, and there's a box on the side you can check mark how you'd like to help the organization.
Yes.
And if you don't feel like there's any of those things you can check mark, then just put in the box, I show you my support. You know what I mean? And let me know what I can do. And they'll be giving you emails and updates on what's going on and the progress thereof. So.
And we need people to write letters to the newspapers in support of this. When they see a newspaper article that's friendly to us, they need to like that on Facebook. They need to recommend that. They need to write a little blurb about that. And in those ways, spread the news throughout your individual network and then help to spread it through others.
Absolutely.
Cool. I know we're almost done here, so I just real quick, I always like to give everyone plugins real quick. Let's see, we got a whole list of them today. We got obviously G3C webpage. You can go there at Genesee County Passion Club webpage. Sorry, G3C.com. Or Genesee3C.com. I couldn't, sorry right now. I'm reading 10 things in front of me. Genesee3C.com.
There you go.
Get involved on the front there. You can click on that. You can check out the letter to Rick Snyder, complain about how long the cards are taking. You can also check out your local representatives, and also there's a copy letter or a practice letter there, so you can actually cut it and copy. And you can actually send a letter out to your local representatives trying to get involved or try to get a meeting with them. On top of that, we have Carrie Justice. She's going to have her meeting tomorrow night. Venus, Coney Island, and Grand Blanc. Tonight we have, is it First Walk?
VGIP at Empire Walk in Lapeer.
Yes. All right, and with that, we have, is it the BigMAC.com? Or
BIGMACC.com.
MACC.com. All right, there's another webpage for you guys to go check out. And then on top of that, we have the repealtoday.org. And then Saturday the 21st at U of M, we have a little session with Greg Francisco. And then the 27th of this month, we have at 8 a.m. at Wayne State. So there's a lot of stuff going on.
Or U of M Ann Arbor?
What's that?
U of M Flint or U of M
U of M Flint.
U of M Flint.
Yes. Then Ann Arbor, 27th, 28th, 29th at the Clarion Hotel. There'll also be a medical marijuana conference as well.
Awesome.
You can hit both the symposium in the morning and the conference in the evening, because that's the way the schedule worked out.
There we go. Perfect.
All right, now you guys have a whole bunch of stuff to look up to. You guys remember you can rewind us and rehear what we just said if you need to keep doing it.
Perfect.
There's a lot to spit out at once.
Perfect.
Cool. Well, Jamie, Rick, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for everything you guys do, man.
Great program. Thanks a lot for keeping the faith up here.
Cool. Well, we're glad to be here on FlintTalkRadio.com. Thanks for joining us on the Genesee County Compassion Club show. And we'll look forward to catching you all here next week. Have a great week. Stay safe.
See you next week.
Thank you.
This is the Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
Walking down the sidewalk, kicking my feet as I'm moving to the music. Step to the beat, I woke up today, canceled all my plans, and I stepped right outside with my guitar in my hands, and the notes became loud as the sound caressed the air, and I kicked it up a notch as I strolled without a care, cause I'm going down the road to a brand new place, and I'll get there with a smile on my face, yeah, so lift me up, I'm moving on, singing and dancing while I play my song, yeah, I'm having a good
here for the patients. We want to continue to be here for the patients. We support safe access and education here. So we're excited and we've been blessed. Thank you.
And Judy, we kicked your booty! Word!
You know, Kentucky John, a lot of folks really don't understand the difference between marijuana and hemp. So let me take a minute to describe it for you folks. They're both the same crop. They are both the same plant, which is scientifically known as cannabis. And it depends on how you cultivate it. When you want industrial textile, or you want building materials or clothing or rope or paper or fuel that you pour into your car, then you cultivate the cannabis seed to produce hemp. Hemp doesn't have any real THC in it, very negligible amount, and you grow very thick fields of it, one after the other. It's planted very close together. You see the big hemp fields with the big tall stalks and all, and that is called hemp. That's cannabis when it's industrial textile. When you take that same seed and you want to plant it and get medicine or smoking material out of it that you call marijuana, then you take that seed and you plant it in a spot where it's going to get a lot of sun. You clear out all the underbrush so that it will produce resin and THC. I would have 35 to 40 pounds of the premier motor lubricating oil on the planet due to its constant viscosity. And in 1991, Willie Nelson and I poured hemp oil into my Mercedes diesel into the gas tank and drove it across Kentucky as a part of my governor's race. Here's the deal. The hemp oil will lubricate your engine. It will run your diesel engines. Rudolph Diesel patented the diesel engine to run off of seed oil so the farmer could produce their own food, and hemp oil is the premier seed oil on the planet. Or you can take that same oil and you can put it in your wok and stir fry your vegetables because it's some of the most nutritious food you can put in your body.
That was Gatewood Galbraith. Welcome everybody to 420 Radio WTHC. A little somber at the moment because Gatewood Galbraith was one of the most inspiring men in this movement. One of the most outspoken by far. He wanted hemp and cannabis legalized. He was an author, he was a political analyst, and an all-around rabble-rouser. He wrote The Last Free Man in America Meets the Synthetic Subversion. It's an amazing read, by the way. Like, if you can't find it, I'll post it. It's on Amazon. He has been in countless documentaries, including Hempsters. Sadly, Gatewood passed away on January 3rd, 2012, due to complications to emphysema. Rest in peace. You great man. You brave soul, fighting for us and everybody else. But beyond that, welcome everybody to 420 Radio WTHC's The Hidden Stash Show. I'm Smokey Kush.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Carlos.
And I'm Dawn.
Yes, the Stoner Circle is complete once more on this beautiful Tuesday evening. Crazy weather that we've had.
Yeah, I'm on the bike, dude.
Around town. Yeah. January 10th, and you're riding a motorcycle. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. So, what have you guys been up to this past week?
Not too much. Man, that's upsetting. I'm sorry. Gets back to that the clip from the beginning. That was Amazing. I like that. That's great. That couldn't have been summed up any better. I wish I could have told him that personally. I guess there's more people that have better wishes and aspirations for him than that, but that was greatly stated. I like to say him is Canada's straight edge cousin.
It is. It's like drinking no duels.
Right.
If you know.
Oops, wrong bag of mine.
Wrong bag.
I mean, it's like this same thing, just not the effects. Same terrible taste as a Budweiser.
Yes. So what have you guys been up to, buddies? How you guys been?
Got the bike back running, so happy about that. But haven't really got it out too much. There was a little bit of snow, but not too much. And, went to Lansing, had hung out with the 2402 crew again. Love them so much. And man, life's good, dude. Life's good.
Good. Don, what you been up to?
Not a whole lot.
I heard a little birdie told me that you went to church this past weekend. Oh,
I did.
How was it?
It was okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. I'm not big on religion, but I like people that are happy, like, when religion helps them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't knock people for liking a religion. I just am not big in on it.
When I was a teenager, I was always in church. I went twice a week. I was in the church choir. I did church competitions, singing. I did a lot with the church, and things happen when you get older, and I strayed, and I'm kind of trying to find my path back to Dawn.
All right, there you go. That's all you can do.
So I'm starting at square one.
Well, hey, who are you? You're Dawn, and you're nobody else.
Right.
And we don't blame you for trying to find that person. If you've lost her. Which I don't think you have. I think you just misplaced her for a second. You know where she's at. You just, it's like that sock. Like, I knew I had 4 pairs of socks in
You're
here,
talking
but now
to the
I've
queen
got...
of mismatched socks here. Hello.
Hello. So it sounds like you guys had a very awesome week. Getting back to the grind and getting back to work and getting back to family life after the holidays. It's always a plus.
I drove down the road the other day, and I was like, okay, we are now into almost the second week of January.
Mm-hmm.
Take down your Christmas lights.
Yes, please. Oh, man, Crystal mentioned that to me the other day. She was like, why? Why do people still have them up? I'm like, I'm lazy, I guess.
Drives me crazy. It's like,
no, whatever, man. People don't mind when it's a month and a half early, so why am I a month and a half late?
I can't stand
I mind it when it's a month and a half early.
I can't stand this.
The people who do it the day after Thanksgiving, no, wait till December.
Man, I wait till Christmas Eve to put my tree up. I think that's, if I'm going to celebrate Christmas, then I'm going to celebrate it the way a majority of people do, but obviously some people don't. They get gung-ho about it, and they want to be like, I'm better than my neighbors, so I'm going to put up all these decorations to prove it. I'm paying this huge light bill for December, but really I can't afford it, but I want to look better than my neighbors. Take it down already!
And the blow-up Santa in the front yard cost me $500.
Degenerate. You silly bastards. Anyway, we have a very amazing show tonight. We will be talking with Logan Solaris of iTel Hempwicks. They provide our hempwicks for the in-studio smoke sessions that we are lucky to have. And we will also be talking to Mason Tvert of Safer out of Colorado.
Them Sniley boys are
back at it again?
Hempwicks, man, quite a bit.
Do they like them?
Yeah, we're
nice.
I handed up some out from the ones that we picked up at Westside. I handed out quite a bit of them, but we use them quite a bit over there as well in the practice downstairs.
Works, man.
Very well.
Get some Great Lakes soybean candles like we got up here in our studio, and you don't even have to flick a bic. You got to flick a bic to light the candle, but after that, it's game over.
Right.
You don't have to light anything else. Douche. Yeah. So we got those great two people coming on the show tonight to talk to us and spread some knowledge about what they do. And Mason Tvert and Logan Solaris. Yeah. So I say we go to break. Ja. All right, we go to break now, and we will see you back here momentarily for more 420 Radio. WTXC is the Hidden Stash.
The time is 4:20, so I'm about to roll up. First I break the blunt down, then I empty out the guts. Then I fill a switcher up, blowing on some sour D's. No sticks and no seeds, how I like to smoke my weed. The time is 4:20, so I'm about to roll up. First I break the blunt down, then I empty out the guts. Then I fill a switcher up, blowing on some sour D's. No sticks and no seeds, how I like to smoke my weed. With a Mary Jane, how I like to start my day. I can roll it in a pellet, fire up a paper plane. Let it stimulate my thoughts, hold it in till I call. Gotta keep it in my system, cause without it, out the lungs. Green crack, blue cheese, and a little OG. What? Do headband, but I love sour D's. Get me higher than a plane. Smoking kush keep me sane. I swear like carpet, when they get it, Kool-Aid stain. Take a fast rip, let the bung feel. Load it up again, cause I love the way it feels. To crystallize my lungs with some good medical. Greatest high in the world, really I'm telling you. Daily I blow several, gotta stay lifted. Constantly ask why I'm high by the critics. I tell them try smoking, cause it won't harm you. Can't roll it up, you can even vaporize too. The time is 4:20, so I'm about to roll up. First I break the blunt down, then I empty out the guts. Then I fill a switcher up, blowing on some sour D's. No sticks and no seeds, how I like to smoke my weed. The time is 4:20, so I'm about to roll up. First I break the blunt down, then I empty out the guts. Then I fill a switcher up, blowing on some sour D's. No sticks and no seeds, how I like to smoke my weed.
Did you make banana bread?
Nope, that's my new banana bread scent candle from Great Lakes Soybean Candles.
That smells amazing. Where can I get one?
You can visit Sherry at Great Lakes Soybean Candles at 1021 Holton Road in North Muskegon, or go to the website at greatlakesoybeancandles.com.
Hey, what's that smell in the bathroom?
That's just monkey farts.
420 Radio.
They drop to the end of the game, but they stop. Pick up the mind check, giving it back. That's a one-way set, so you can feel that. To the time they left, yo, so you go straight to with major bad and stuff. You know I expected nothing less, so just make that move. By the time that they consume is made, you feel it in your heart, so I make that move. If they mistake this myth, for thought is always resist. All your hands at the man, and the first step is left clear. You fucking stay. That get lost to the thoughts that I brushed off and tossed. These feelings are now running short, and these breaths just cannot be false. So these kids look to the sky, sit back and just ask why. Who's the person in charge and where exactly must I reply? If you thought this way, you may not see your bright days. A time when the grass is greener and the sun yells it's no play. Let us make this choice where we all do have our voice. Not a vote, not a no, but you know if you don't need to count your points.
face when the break the falls. And if you think pop I will grab that house just to smoke you out. Bring you up, then I bring you down. And if you think I will lose control. Got this mic macho up in the face when I let this shit blow. If you think I will grab that house just to smoke you out. Bring you up, then I bring you down. And
You are tuned in to 420 Radio, WTHC.
Hey, wait a minute, hon. Let me conclude that you once lived a life that was so unpure. How could you love someone only to give up everything? Oh, you just don't get it, son.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to 420 Radio WTHC's The Hidden Stash Show. I'm Smokey Kush, and we are about to get ready to talk with Mr. Logan. And I said his name wrong. I totally apologize to Mr. Logan Sicily from ITEL Hempwick. So let's talk to this guy. Hello, Logan. Hello, Logan.
Yes, man. You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How you doing, man?
All right. Doing good. Everything is out here.
Good. How are things out there in Hawaii?
Hawaii right now, I'm looking at the beach, which is about 80 degrees, nice little breeze blowing, some waves crashing, and sunny.
I'm jealous.
We're all jealous.
Jealous.
We're
I
up
tell
here
you.
freezing. We are up here freezing,
Yeah.
man. It's cold.
I want that weather.
Yeah.
I want that weather.
Yeah, right?
It's cold up here.
But
It's
no snow.
the good life. It's the good life, for sure.
But we have no snow, so that's a good thing. Well, not really.
Yeah, what? You guys are in Michigan, is that right?
Yes,
Yeah, no, we've had snow
Oh, jeez.
like what, 4 days out of this winter?
Yeah, maybe.
Crazy,
Oh, man,
crazy. It's crazy.
That's crazy. I heard. You know what? I just seen a surfing documentary out there in the lakes out there. People surf on the wind swells.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we got
Crazy.
we got some crazy people out here that are down to get down
For real,
and
right?
some surfing, man. Like it doesn't matter.
Right.
So I'm looking
Nice.
I'm looking right now, Logan, at one of your ITEL Hempwicks. It was just
Yeah, man.
it was just chilling in our studio ashtray, and we use
Nice.
these. We use these in studio.
I got one on my tray at my house, so I mean, I use.
yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't go nowhere without mine either. So
Thank
we're all
you.
right there.
Thank you.
We received 1,000 of them from
Nice.
your fine company. Somebody
Nice,
sent
nice.
us 1,000 sample packs, and I've been handing them out by the handfuls, and I still have half a bag left.
Yeah, give thanks, man. That's what it's all about, though, is getting it to the right people that love it, you know?
Yeah, they love them.
Right, I carry them in my backpack. I have like at a given time, 15 to 20 in my backpack, and I try to get them out. Like I go to a bar, West Side on Wednesdays a lot, and well anywhere. I hand them out. I'm like, hey, do you like this? And I haven't had anyone say no, they wouldn't take it. So I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
Nice, man. That's positive to hear for sure. And you know, I mean, if anybody that's like really all about it and is a connoisseur, smoker and things, they're definitely gonna take to it with joy, you know.
Oh yeah, exactly, man. Because
Yeah,
I enjoy them
yeah.
because it's a cleaner, smoother hit. I don't get the butane from the lighter, and how I light it is off of a Great Lakes soybean candle, which
There
is
you
pretty
go,
much
even
all,
better.
which is pretty much all natural because it's soy.
Yeah.
And we light it off of that in the studio, and then we smoke our bowls, and we do it.
Yeah, man, it's sweet, and then, what really made me believe in it is that, that me and all my family and friends, used it long before we ever put it on the market, and we swore by it, so, that's just what convinced me that it would work on more of an international level and across the United States, because we loved it so much, everyone should love it just as much that,
Hell yeah,
enjoys
man.
their sacrament,
Yeah.
So what originally made you come up with the idea to make the? I mean, how did you get to start using these?
Well, it started, it started when I started seeking the Rastafarian faith and hanging out with some brethren out here in Maui. Some of the Rasta community were actually already making their own and using it out here in Maui, and then when I went back to the Big Island, I introduced it to all our friends and our circle of friends, and it was really the Rasta communities within the islands in Hawaii
Nice.
were using it a lot, just, really preaching the green and the natural way to smoke and the, butane-free, keep it ITAL, keep it clean, keep it natural, and from there it spread from the Rasta communities to every, a lot of the just surfers and everybody who was interested started using it, and that's kind of how it came about for myself.
It definitely.
But we do got to make note, though, that it is an ancient thing long before any of us thought of it.
Oh, for sure.
The ancients were using it a long time ago to light various smoking material and candles and everything. So it's an old time thing.
hemp has been around a very long time, and it's been used for
Yeah,
a very
and
many
especially
things.
the hemp wick. The hemp wick itself has been used for centuries for the various reasons. So no one can really claim to be the inventor per se, but yeah, that's how it came about in the modern days
Nice.
for us to start using it and distributing it.
It's very humble of you to put that out there, to be like, there's
Yeah, for
nobody
sure.
to say that they are the originator of this hemp wick, because it's been used
Yeah.
for centuries before us. That's very, very
Yeah,
humble of you.
the reason we put original ITAL hemp wick is just that we were the first company to market it once again in the United States, but definitely put no claim to inventing it whatsoever.
Nice.
And how many states do you supply to now?
We should be, if not all 50 states, we're definitely, in at least 40 of the 50, if not more. And anywhere that there's a strong smoking culture, we should be there within the stores, thanks to our great sales staff and like-minded people, wanting a better way of life and a better way to smoke,
Awesome.
Nice. So,
Yeah.
what made you guys decide to market this idea, to get it out to the masses? And I guess I can
Basically, how it started was we were using it so heavily, and it came to a point where me and my friends and our family weren't even smoking without it. We opened a retail record store, which has slowly, 8 years later, evolved into a pretty nice head shop as well.
Nice.
But it was a record store at first, and that was in 2004. And we started to put our own labels and sell it in our retail store, and it took off real fast. And from there, other stores around town started asking for it, and from there, we got a few accounts on the other islands, and then from there, it just blossomed and bloomed, going to trade shows and to what it is today.
That's awesome, man, because it's a very good tool to have in your, I guess, your stoner toolkit. It's something
Exactly,
it's
man. I
something
mean, and like I said, if anyone's serious about what they're doing and really takes it in high regard, that it's like either medicinal or highly spiritual,
Yes,
the
sir.
reason why they're smoking, then
Yeah.
they're gonna want to use this product because it just makes you come that much closer to that naturalness, of what you're doing.
I've actually had people ask me, "Oh, you smoke? You use ITAL hemp wicks, or you use hemp wick for smoking out of bongs?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah."
Yeah, what else would you use it for?
Yeah, they were like, they were basically like, "Well, I use it for lighting joints and blunts," and I'm
Yeah,
like, "Well,
true,
you know
true.
what? You're putting harmful chemicals into your body by smoking a joint or a blunt anyway.
Yeah, true.
Rather than me using it to smoke out of a bong, which is
Right. Of
almost
course,
100
a
times
clean
healthier.
glass bong with a hemp wick is going to be the closest we can get to getting it pure without maybe turning to a vaporizer. But then you'd be on with electronics and all kind of weird stuff. So
It's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing. It's a beautiful thing. I love the herb, and I don't want to
is.
abuse it.
what a great station you guys got going too. Educating the people out there, man.
Oh,
That's a good
thanks,
vibe.
man. We do our best, man. We try to put on educational but entertaining shows.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. That's what we got to do. Is keep it real. People giving the people what they need and what they want.
Right. So, Logan, how can all of the listeners and, once we run out of our samples, where can we get more of these ITAL hemp wicks?
Yeah, well, for sure, we should be keeping you guys stocked with samples. But besides that, www.italhempwick.com. That's ITAL, italhempwick.com, and we have a little a page there where you can actually purchase some of your own, various sizes, which is basically various lengths. And also we have a send a self-addressed stamped envelope to our warehouse, and we'll ship you a free sample as well.
Nice.
If you're listening nationwide, you could get a free sample any day just by sending a self-addressed stamped envelope to our warehouse.
Awesome.
Nice.
And besides Better Smoke Shops nationwide, you can't forget those guys. Those are the ones keeping us all going,
So
the mom and pop stores and the chains out there.
Yeah, so you pretty much just supply to, like head shops, compassion clubs, and stuff.
Yep, that's definitely our main market and the main people that are taking to it. We tried some of the more like eco stores and stuff, but some of them, they shun the 420 crowd a little bit, even though they're trying to preach the same gospel. So it kind of opens up the market more in the smoke shop, and we do have a few cigar shops, which is cool, and just trying to really, record stores, anybody that's on the conscious eco tip, as well as on the smoking culture side, we try to get it in there.
Nice. So,
yeah, man.
So you guys make these hemp wigs. What else? Do you guys make anything else? Like shirts?
Yeah, well, actually, we introduced the lighter sleeve, which flips over a standard Bic lighter, and it has an extinguishing tab, which lines up with the metal part on the lighter, so you can easily extinguish.
Nice.
And that's been taken off, and that's a good new product that we just introduced. And the latest thing we introduced is a all bamboo biodegradable poker. A poker for your downstem, for your bowl, for your water pipe, for your dry pipe. A little cleaner poker. We're used to seeing all those metal ones on the market, and some of these new ones with the brush tips and stuff.
Nice.
But through the retail industry, I've noticed that a lot of people come in with broken pieces due to the metal pokers. So we brought out this. It's a pretty thin. Basically, it's a barbecue skewer, but a little bit thinner, and it's all biodegradable, and it's the best tool. Again, promoting that you are smoking a sacrament, you are smoking medicine for some people, and we want to keep our utensils clean and get that best hit we can get.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. That's what we're all about. We're all about.
Yeah, so that's what the poker is about. Is just keeping your downstem and your bowl clean at all times, and a little mixing tool for if you're doing other types of shishka or anything like that. It's an all around real good poker. And they're selling on the internet for pretty cheap, and we're trying to get them out into stores. They're not taking on as quick as the hemp wick, just being that it's a pretty simple product, and but they're valuable. They're good to use. They're good. Another thing for your stoner kit, like you were saying.
Oh yeah. Right. We always need new pieces and new tools for the stoner kit. We always.
Yeah, we're working on some new stuff too. Hopefully coming out in 2012, just to add to our repertoire and try to keep it on the what we're really shooting for is a low tech, highly crucial but low tech.
Nice. Keep us up to date for sure on that, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. We will definitely, and definitely all the listeners just check up on the website. Occasionally, we are going to be overhauling our website this year as well. Get it all up to date and looking real clean and crisp how it should.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we're excited to see the amazing products that you guys are getting ready to put out. And Logan, I want to thank you for taking time out of your obviously beautiful day down there in Hawaii, up there in Hawaii, hanging out by the beach there. We're a little jealous over here. We might have to come down there, up there, and do a show or something sometime. So
yeah, for real, check us out, man. We got a cool retail shop and a record store and a smoke shop over here on the Big Island. And anytime you guys are over here, you're near your listeners. It's called Conscious Rhythms Records. South Kona and also in North Kona, so you guys should definitely stop in and check us out.
Nice, man. Well, if you know any local bands out there that are willing to send some tracks to 420 Radio, let me know.
Hey, I know a bunch, man. We'll keep the link. I got your guys' email. I'll be sending you some music.
There you go, man. All right, well, thank you, brother, for talking to us tonight. We hope that everything keeps going well for ITEL Hemp Wicks. Stay positive.
Man. Yeah, for sure, and I just want to big up, 420 Radio, keeping it real, doing it, giving a message to the people, and, just telling you, burn clean, burn green, burn ITEL every time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, hey, brother, thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Aloha, you guys.
Peace.
One love.
What a cool cat.
Oh, yeah.
What a cool cat. Jinx. Seems last two shows we've had a Jinx.
Yep. Man, I want to go hang out. I just bought some of those pokers that he was talking about.
The Pokas.
Yep. So I'm gonna use them and let you know what I think. My buddy uses a dentist tool, and it's metal. And I always said I think it's gonna break your stuff, dude. And then I'm gonna give him this. And
Nice. I use a metal piece too.
he's gonna love it.
But I'm gentle with my glass. You know, like you have to be. Like you wouldn't go into your teeth like scraping a piece of broccoli from in between your teeth with a piece of like metal. You know, and just go at it like hardcore, like you're scratching an egg. You know, you have to be gentle about it. You just gotta go in there and treat it like a lady. Treat it like a lady. All right, so I think we're gonna jump in a break, and we are going to come back, and we're gonna talk to Mason Tvert, who is out of Colorado, and he runs Safer. And we have a lot to talk to Mason about. A lot.
Yeah.
He's very politically charged, and the fact that he's helping out our movement is very much obliged, because he's a good guy.
Right on.
So stay tuned to 420 Radio, WTHC's The Hidden Stash Show. We will be back after this.
But not like a dick, I guess I gotta figure out what it is that makes you tick. Find that flip, then I switch it, just to keep it ill. Now I got you creeping on me like an ecstasy pill. So now tell me what is real, and exactly how you feel. Go and spill your secrets, baby girl, I won't tell. Nothing but that truth, hardwired saber tooth. You wanna trust this motherfucker, but I'm just a recluse. Escape your noose, and now I'm free to kick rocks. They want me to stop, but this kid's quick to pop his claws without a pause. I'm coming for your jaws. Weapon steady, wrecking mucks. Wreck is the cause. Don't get in the way. Yes, I got tokens for days, but I choose not to waste them on the games that you play. I'd rather blaze. Take this time, forget about you. Roll the fuck on, and that's exactly what I'll do. Cause I'm coasting, laughing, living life without regret. You think you got what I need? No, I'm coasting, laughing, living life without regret. You think she's got what I need? No, she's coasting, laughing, living her life with regret. You think I got what I need? No, I'm coasting, laughing, living life without regret. Living life without regret. Not a single drop of sweat will be given over you. I run with my crew, crush, kill is just what we do. So what you gotta prove? Don't try to come up with that attitude. Bitch, we keep it smooth, but I ain't got nothing to lose. I'll dismantle you. I'm just a tough drink to swallow. Getting butter tasted, now your insides are hollow. Don't follow, I'd rather keep it as the lone soldier, standing firm on my stance as the world gets colder. Bolder, steady coasting on through this life. Never get caught up in any girl's strife. As I balance on the edge of this knife, I breeze on through, do whatever I like, so act right. I'm on a goddamn mission, making the opposition be wishing that they could change their position. They want a crew like mine, this all comes with time. Go ahead and press rewind. You think you know? I think you're out your mind. Cause I'm coasting, laughing, living life without regret. You think you got what I need? No, I'm coasting, laughing, living life without regret. You think she's got what I need? No, she's coasting, laughing, living her life with regret. You think I got what I need? No, I'm coasting, laughing, living life without regret. Living life without regret. But not like a dick, I guess I gotta figure out what it is that makes you tick. Find that switch, then I flip it, just to keep it ill. Now I got you creeping on me like an ecstasy pill. So now, tell me what is real.
420 Radio. Do you know if you qualify for the Michigan Medical Marijuana Program? Conditions covered under the statute are glaucoma, cancer, hepatitis C, Crohn's disease, and other ailments such as severe and chronic pain, nausea, and seizures. For more information regarding the program, or if you would like to schedule an appointment, please contact Kim at Michigan Holistic Health at area code 231-736-0128, or you can call our 855 number at 855-420-8100. We have clinics available in Battle Creek, Muskegon, and offices in Kalamazoo and Grand Rapids.
Hits the back roads out of Memphis the night you said goodbye. Hooked up with some fellas out of Tucson that had shady alibis. A hot rod Chevy packing cold Colt 45s. I was thinking how you moved like a leopard through an open room. As we were driving into Dallas to pull a job that afternoon. Yeah, staring out the window, watching clouds run past the moon. Walking in a crossfire, staring down the barrel of a loaded gun. Thinking about our yesterdays and wondering if I'll see the morning sun. Thinking I don't wanna die, but thinking I can take it if it comes. Turned my head to catch a figure that reminded me of you. Barely heard a word they were saying about what I was supposed to do. I just kept thinking, honey, I can't believe we're through. Walking into a crossfire, staring down the barrel of a loaded gun. Thinking about our yesterdays and wondering if I'll see the morning sun. Thinking I don't wanna die, thinking I can take it if it comes. Yeah, thinking I don't wanna die, but thinking I can take it if it comes. Thought I heard your voice from somewhere as the ambush opened fire. Sees we had no chance of running, so we settled on the fight. Didn't think of nothing, and it just seemed right. Walking into the crossfire, staring down the barrel of a loaded gun. Thinking about our yesterdays and wondering if I'll see the morning sun. Thinking I don't wanna die, thinking I can take it if it comes. Walking in a crossfire, staring down the barrel of a loaded gun. Thinking about our yesterdays and wondering if I'll see the morning sun. Thinking I don't wanna die, thinking I can take it if it comes.
lot of amateurs that don't know how to roll a blunt. It looks all lumpy and it's got holes. They always got some excuse, like I'm only used to rolling joints, or all I do is pack bowls. Sit down and let me explain the proper way to handle a blunt. You gotta handle it gently. Don't rush or be mean to the blunt, or it'll tear on ya. It's not a Honda, it's a Bentley. Oh, just bring me some good. Oh, just break it up nicely. Just roll it up. Oh, just smoke it up. Oh, just bring me some good. Oh, just break it up nicely. Just roll it up. Oh, just smoke it up. Oh, there's nothing worse than when a person holds a blunt and don't pass it. What happened to puff puff pass 2 hits? Or when the blunt goes round the circle, when you get it, no one's ashed it. Ooh, there's an ashtray. Where do I ash this? Where do I ash this? If you're gonna share a blunt with me, then please suck in your lips. 'Cause I don't wanna taste your spit. There are certain standards and manners you should have to smoke on this. This is blunt smoking etiquette. Just bring me some good. Oh, just break it up nicely. Just roll it up. Oh, just smoke it up. Oh, just bring me some good. Oh, just break it up nicely. Just roll it up. Oh, just smoke it up. So come on and put up your sack, 'cause the blunts that I rolled up fat. And if you think that you want my match, then come on and break it out, break it up, roll it up, light it up. Come on and put up your sack, 'cause the blunts that I rolled up fat. And if you think that you want my match, then come on and break it out, break it up, roll it up, light it up. Just bring me some good. Oh, just break it up nicely. Just roll it up. Oh, just smoke it up. Oh, just bring me some good. Oh, just break it up nicely. Just roll it up. Oh, just smoke it up.
So we hope everybody out there in Canaland right now is as stony as we are, because it's one of them nights, man. It's one of them nights where we're just kind of hanging out, doing our thing, you know, medicated to the T. So now we're going to talk to Mason Tvert and kind of get to the bottom of what Safer is all about, and we're going to talk about some other things. Actually, I have something for the people out there. So check this out real quick. This is Mason, and this is back in 2005, and he's talking to a reporter. So check this out.
Started with Ellen. Final thought from you.
I think that, you know, it's unfortunate that this is the way the domestic violence community feels, because if it is actually their mission to prevent these acts from ever occurring, they should be behind this, because there's no doubt that if adults used marijuana in this city instead of alcohol, there would be far less domestic violence, and that's just a fact.
Mayor doesn't agree with you.
Well, the mayor happens to be a drug dealer, but he is fortunate enough to...
A drug dealer?
He sells his drug in an illegal market. He just happens to be lucky enough that our laws consider his drug legal, and despite the fact that it's deadly and leads to domestic violence and marijuana does not, he's able to profit from it. And I think
we're going to end right there. I can see some response from the mayor's office about that.
Hello, Mason Tvert.
Hey, how's it going?
How's it going, man? How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks.
We just listened to a clip of you talking to a gentleman about the mayor of Denver back in 2005. And you called him a brew pub owning Denver drug dealer.
Yes, that is correct.
That's crazy. Were there any repercussions from that?
Well, no. I mean, ultimately, we spent the next few weeks really highlighting the fact that the mayor of Denver had made a fortune selling a more dangerous drug than marijuana, and yeah, I mean, it really generated a lot of attention to that particular campaign that we were running and the issue and the message that we were trying to get out.
Nice.
And we're going to continue to do that.
Good.
It's easy to do to sell a lot of drugs that are more harmful than cannabis, but I remember that I was in Colorado at that time in my life, and I didn't know that was you until just now. That's awesome. That's awesome.
You do some pretty amazing things out there in Colorado. You are you've done some pretty amazing things in your life. You have you worked in the Attorney General's office in Arizona, correct?
Yeah, back when I was in school, I spent a summer working in the press secretary's office for the Arizona Attorney General, just doing random media-related tasks, which certainly helped with the work that we do now.
Right, and what you do now is SAFER. So what is SAFER?
SAFER is a national nonprofit organization that we started here in Colorado. Originally just started on a couple college campuses here where we organized students and ran some campus campaigns, and it's quickly grown to be one of the largest marijuana reform organizations in the country. And ultimately our goal, our mission, is to educate the public about the fact that marijuana is far safer than alcohol for the people who use it and for society in general, because this is a fact that too many people still do not understand, and as a result, there's still a lot of resistance to changing our marijuana laws because people are still so fearful of it, still believe that it's too harmful to allow adults to use it. So by changing the attitude surrounding it, we will see people be more open to treating it more rationally, and that's what's happening here in Colorado.
Yeah, it seems like you guys are progressing very nicely. Do you guys have an initiative for the ballot coming up this November?
Yeah, we actually just turned in about 160,000 signatures to place a statewide initiative on the 2012 ballot for this November that would essentially make marijuana legal and allow it to be regulated like alcohol, and it would also allow for the legal cultivation and processing of industrial hemp as well, which is a bonus. And
Right.
so it's been a long 6-month period of collecting signatures, and an even longer period of when you include the 6 months prior to that, during which time we were building a coalition of organizations and activists and so on, as well as writing language, and it's all come up to this point where we've submitted those signatures, and it appears that we should have no problem being on the ballot. So it's going to be a very exciting election season.
Nice. How many signatures did you need to get this?
You need about 86,000 valid signatures of registered voters. So
Wow.
you generally get more than that, substantially more, to ensure that you're going to have enough that are valid. And we went above and beyond. We had 160,000, so we should
Nice.
have no problem.
We're
awesome.
yeah. That's awesome, man. Like I guess it's happening up here too. Not too sure about that, but
That's what I've been reading.
yeah. So let's get back to SAFER. Why was SAFER created?
Well, we really started overall because we kept seeing survey data that showed that only about a third of Americans actually believe marijuana is safer than alcohol. And even though that seems like common sense to us, and probably to just about all of your listeners, probably all of them, most Americans, about 2/3, think marijuana is either more harmful than alcohol or just as harmful as alcohol. And when 2/3 of the country thinks that we're talking about a substance that poses that many problems, it's going to be really difficult to get people to agree to allow it to be legal. So what we did also find at the same time is that of the people who agree marijuana is safer than alcohol, about 75 to 80% or so think that it should be legal and treated like alcohol. So rather than just trying to convince people that, marijuana prohibition is a failed policy and that it poses all these serious problems associated with prohibition and so on, we really just decided that we needed to start focusing on making sure people understand the nature of this substance and the fact that it's really not harmful. It's far less harmful than alcohol. So with that in mind, we set up a kind of a pilot project where we ran these student referenda campaigns here in Colorado at the University of Colorado in Boulder and at Colorado State University in Fort Collins. And one of the reasons it was in Colorado is because, well, quite frankly, I wanted to live here, but also because Colorado didn't have much going on in the way of marijuana reform activity. There really wasn't a lot happening. We had a medical marijuana law in place, but there was only about 1,500 patients, maybe even less, and there really just wasn't any significant work being done to change laws and organize and so on. So also at the same time, those two colleges had recently had alcohol-related deaths on their campuses, overdose deaths that were very, very highly publicized and talked about nationwide. So it really created a good setting to start talking about the fact that we're punishing people who are making the safer choice to use marijuana instead of alcohol. And if these college students had been using marijuana instead of drinking that night, then they'd still be alive. And it really caught the attention of the media and just really blew up from there.
Man,
I bet.
That's awesome. So, how did you get involved exactly? Like, that was the beginning, but like, what sparked it in your head? Like, what did you do? Like, when did you speak up for the first time to talk to somebody?
You know, I mean, when I was in college, I certainly developed a position and a feeling about the subject. I wasn't, incredibly passionate about it. I was certainly passionate about it, but it wasn't until really I started exploring, where I wanted to go professionally, and this is an issue that's always encompassed a lot of other things that I care about, along with just marijuana in of itself, but issues involving social justice and economic, environmental, just everything possible is really wrapped into this. But most importantly, I just can't stand to see people being hurt for nothing. I just can't stomach that. So while looking for various jobs in the nonprofit world, I was trying to get into this and managed to get an opportunity to do some campaigning in Arizona, where I'm originally from. And that was only during the 2004 election cycle, but I made some connections that ultimately led to me and a couple other individuals starting this organization. So, and I also, when I was in college, I certainly was, like many people, had to deal with scrutiny and a lot of harassment, including a specific incident surrounding my marijuana use as a college student. So certainly the catalyst for wanting to change these laws.
Yeah, exactly. So now you also wrote a book called Marijuana is Safer, So Why Are We Driving People to Drink? Tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. It's a book that came out in 2009, the fall of 2009, and it's co-authored by Paul Armentano, who's the deputy director over at NORML, and Steve Fox, who co-founded SAFER with me and is the director of government relations and state initiatives at the Marijuana Policy Project. And we basically wanted to convey this strategy that I've kind of laid out here, but also to convey the facts about these two drugs and their history and their effects, and provide the latest up-to-date information about them, and really give people a resource for either whether they don't agree that marijuana is legal or whether they do. It's still really useful, and basically we just lay out the history behind these two substances, what they are, what they do, why they've been used, what's happened with them, how they've been treated, and then we just discuss the differences in how they've been treated, and the fact that alcohol has gone down this path of being accepted and even encouraged in our society, and marijuana has been rejected and discouraged. And we, of course, then talk about all the facts surrounding marijuana being a safer substance than alcohol, and really get people to think about this and to think about, how much we've been steering people away from marijuana use, and essentially by doing so, fostering this alcohol-based society. And let me give the caveat that I'm not anti-alcohol at all. I certainly think alcohol can be a great substance when used responsibly, and it has been for a long time. I think we should have a choice. And so, yes, we really just laid it all out there, and then we also provide some ways that people can get involved and some ideas for what they can do, and then we get into this whole strategy, and it really did well.
Hey, Mason, how did you get on the Denver Marijuana Policy Review panel?
By force. Ultimately, we ran so in 2005, at the time when that particular interview occurred that you played earlier with the mayor and the drug dealer comment, that was an initiative that we passed that made Denver the first city in the country to remove all penalties for adult marijuana possession. And it really was one of the things that jump-started the movement in Colorado. And after a unsuccessful statewide legalization initiative in 2006, we continued in Denver and ran a lowest law enforcement priority measure. Basically, the city was refusing to stop arresting people and was still relying on state law. So we passed another measure that basically ordered them to make it their lowest priority, and part of that was establishing a panel that would oversee the implementation of this and try to ensure it was done to the greatest extent possible. And we certainly knew that this was going to be a pretty tough task, and it would really, a big part of this was to keep the narrative going, to do everything possible to try to get the city to take these actions. And so we essentially required the mayor, that same mayor from 2005, we required that he create a panel, and part of that, we required that he include 2 people of our choice.
Very nice.
And so that was me and one of my colleagues, Brian Vicente, who runs Sensible Colorado, which is another one of our closest allies in the large marijuana policy organization here in Colorado. And, you know, we brought it to the city attorney, and they said, well, you're really not allowed to do this because you can't tell the mayor what to do. You can only tell the city council what to do. And we just, you know, we knew that the mayor did not want to have anything to do with this at this point. He had basically, after that whole drug dealer thing, decided to just remain quiet on the subject. So rather than make us think about it and fight us over it and make it news, they just sat back and let us do it. So we managed to be the first ever people to appoint ourselves to a mayoral panel.
Wow.
That's crazy.
It's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah. I mean, good job. I mean, you guys are obviously rocking it out there in Colorado.
I read a lot of articles from Colorado.
Yeah.
A lot.
I see a lot of good
It's
pictures.
it's pretty amazing what's happening out here. You know, we by far and away have the most advanced medical marijuana system going on, in which we have full-blown state regulation. We're seeing hundreds of legal marijuana businesses, whether they're dispensaries and retail stores or whether they're product manufacturers making edibles and so on. And they're all being licensed. They're all being regulated. We have a wing within our Department of Revenue which focuses entirely on ensuring that things are going smoothly with the marijuana industry. And so it's really become an established thing. We've seen the legislature pass laws to make sure it can run. We've seen localities do the same. And we've also seen some localities, you know, vote to ban dispensaries. But overall, I mean, we have the solid system going, and I think we're, you know, most Coloradans, the polls show at least, and I think are ready to take the next step and just allow these businesses to serve people who are 21 and older, as opposed to only people who go to a physician and receive a recommendation and then apply for a license and so on.
Right. Yeah, it just seems like people generally enjoy cannabis. Plain and simple. Let them enjoy it. It's a personal choice.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, in many cases, people enjoy it for the same reasons that they enjoy drinking, which is one of the arguments that we make and try to highlight in our book. You know, whether it's to relax after work, someone might go out and have a drink, or come home and have a drink, or someone might feel like you know, smoking a joint or going out the back of their house and sitting around on their porch and smoking a little. People do it to party and celebrate. It's a social thing with alcohol and with marijuana.
Right.
So, you know, it's really, you know, whether it's people use alcohol to enhance an experience, like going to a concert or something like that, or a sporting event. And, we see the similar thing with marijuana. So we really do see that they are, when it comes to recreational use, of course, marijuana has these very vast benefits when it comes to medical use. But when it comes to people who simply want to use it for relaxing or what have you, they're using it for the same reason as alcohol. And it stands to be the case that if we gave people the choice, that we're not suggesting people are going to stop drinking and just start using marijuana all the time.
Exactly.
But in that one case where an individual might have decided to go out and get drunk and then got into a fight or fell down and hurt themselves or something, if they decided that it was okay to just use some marijuana and stay in, or to go out and be able to use marijuana somewhere legally without fear of punishment, we could avoid a lot of those types of problems.
Yeah, a lot of them. Because mostly drunks are out there getting into bar fights and taking it into the streets. And here in Michigan, we have a lot of gang-related deaths and a lot of violence that happens at bars. 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. You hear about somebody got shot outside of this club, or somebody got shot outside of this bar. It's crazy. These people could be just smoking cannabis and be 10 times as happy. And relaxed.
Right.
It's ridiculous. But like you said, alcohol in a respectable level is okay. But when it's taken to an extreme, that's when things get out of hand.
That's why I don't drink.
Good for you. I want to get back to your book. How can I find your book?
Well, it's available on Amazon, and one of the great things about it is that it's been made available for so cheap. I mean, the cover price is only like $15, but on Amazon right now, if you just search for marijuana is safer, or even marijuana safer, it'll come up, and it's usually less than $10. It'll be like around $9.50, $10. So that's a pretty good way to go about finding it on the cheap. Of course, we always are accepting donations to SAFER, and we offer the book as an incentive to people. So that's another option, and people can do that at saferchoice.org.
I got a copy for $7.95 on Amazon.
There you go.
Amazing read.
Oh, you have one?
Yeah, I'll let you borrow it. It's amazing. It's good stuff.
Actually, I think I'm going to buy my own copy.
Okay, do that.
Well, if you're buying your own, I want to borrow it.
Okay. So, Mason, what else have you been up to, my friend?
Oh, well, we're pretty consumed with this initiative here in Colorado right now. We've done a lot of other work, particularly with college students around the country over the last few years. Leading from what we did in Colorado, we've helped students replicate that around the country at their own universities, and we've managed to pass so-called SAFER referendums at about 14 or maybe 15 schools at this point, including a lot of the largest ones in the country. The closest one to you guys probably being Ohio State, which I know might be a touchy subject for some folks in Michigan, Ohio State, but we have managed to have a lot of success with that. But right now, here in Colorado, this year, this 2012 initiative poses really the absolute best opportunity in history to end marijuana prohibition at the state level. And the polling is good, and we have an amazing coalition. Every major national marijuana reform organization and every organization here in Colorado, in large part, we are all working together. We have been from the beginning. So NORML, the Marijuana Policy Project, the Drug Policy Alliance, Law Enforcement Against Prohibition, Students for Sensible Drug Policy, and then SAFER and Sensible Colorado, and the ACLU of Colorado. Now we have the Criminal Defense Bar, and we're just more and more getting involved. And we just finished our petition drive. We had more than 500 individuals and 150 businesses around the state who were signed up to take part. And so it's really just growing, and I think it's going to be a really exciting year leading up to the election.
Awesome. That's really cool, man. Like, I'm really hoping that everything goes as planned out there in Colorado, because besides California, you guys seem to be one of the premier states that are really pushing for the legalization and decriminalization of cannabis for everybody. All across the board. It doesn't matter if you're medical or just a rec user. It seems like you guys are really trying to push for that, and I really hope that it trickles downstate like it did with California in the beginning when they got their medical Prop 215 passed back in '96. Really hope that it trickles downstate from you guys to us, because we want that just as much. It's freedom of choice. Freedom of choice. Let my people smoke.
Yeah, and this has the promise to do just that. I mean, if this passes, it will really have a resounding effect, not even just around the country, but around the world. I mean, a lot of places, industrialized nations, look to the U.S. to get their cues on what's acceptable when it comes to drug policy, and the state taking this step and really forcing our federal government to reconsider what it's doing, it will be huge. But I also want to say that, So there is a good reason for people outside of Colorado to be interested in this, and we're also going to do everything we can to get people outside of Colorado involved with this campaign. We work with one of our coalition members is the Just Say Now campaign, which is the marijuana reform project being carried out by Fire Dog Lake, which is an online blogger community and so on. And last year with Prop 19, they helped set up a online system by which people around the country could make phone calls to voters in California and remind them to vote or encourage them to support the initiative or what have you. And we hope to set up something similar. So we'll definitely be keeping people posted on that as it comes up.
Very cool. Definitely keep us in the loop on that, because we will post that and we will help promote that as much as we can. We promote any state that has any legalities going towards legalizing marijuana. We want that.
Yeah, cannabis should be legal all over the place.
That's
what I say too. Is like, when there's something that we want here, I'm like, well, Colorado does it. Like, you guys are like a precedent. Back to like you were saying earlier. That's how I feel. Like, I lived in Colorado, like I said, for a couple years, and I have still some friends that live in Colorado. And they tell me about what they can do and what, some of the dispensaries and the way they have them set up, and I want it like that. I want it like that here. I think you guys
it's pretty phenomenal.
Have a pretty you guys have a, from the way it sounds, is a really great system. I tried some of those Chiba Chews; those are pretty good. I'm upset that Tootsie Roll got a hold of them. I had some of those; those were very good. So yeah, I think that the Michigan. I thank you for what you do. First off, but yeah, I think that's great. And I think that Colorado's a precedent, and then I want a lot of things like you guys have there here.
Well, yeah, I encourage anyone who's interested, whether you want to be kept up to date on how you can take part in this campaign, or you just want to read the initiative or know what's going on, you can see it all. It's online at regulatemarijuana.org, and we're also on Facebook. It's just the Colorado Marijuana Initiative 2012. So if you just search for Colorado Marijuana 2012, it'll come up. But we're trying to get as many people involved in this as possible. So regulatemarijuana.org, and then on Facebook, please get in touch, sign up, so we can keep you posted and let you know how you can help.
Yeah, totally, man. Like, everybody needs to get up and stand up.
What do I want to type in again on Facebook? Colorado?
I'm pretty sure if you try just putting Colorado Marijuana 2012, I would think that the search would bring it up, but
okay. Yeah, we'll get
there. You can get there through the front page of
Hey, you're right. I'm gonna post that up in the chat, and then also I'll post it on our Facebook as well.
That would be wonderful.
Cool, man.
Yeah. So, Mason, I want to know, are you yourself a cannibal? Cannibal. Are you a cannibal? Do you eat people? No, you don't. Are you yourself a medical cannabis consumer?
No, I've never become a medical marijuana patient. So, you know, as I like to say, the first legal marijuana I use in Colorado won't be for medical purposes.
Oh, so do you use cannabis?
I've certainly, used marijuana, you know, various times since I've been in college and so on. So, you know, ultimately I try to keep things away from being about me and really just talking about the issue itself.
Oh, very true. Very true. Very true. Well, I want to thank you, Mason, for talking with us this evening. You're very knowledgeable in what you do, and we hope to have you back on the Hidden Stash Show on another episode to talk to us again and keep us up to date about what's going on in Colorado.
Absolutely, I appreciate you having me, and I'm happy to talk in the future.
All right, we take care.
Thank
Take
you.
care, guys.
Peace. Another very cool cat, right there, Mason Tavert.
Yeah, man,
What a cool guy.
that's. I like this guy. I didn't know that was him that said that statement, but I remember that. Like that was.
I'll post the video to 420
Nice.
like page
was-
of him saying that the mayor of Denver, his name is John Hickenlooper, if you can believe that, Hickenlooper. He called him a drug dealer who sells a more dangerous drug than cannabis. Yeah. Mason Tavert. Crazy. So we're going to have him back. We'll have him back. Because he's a good guy to talk to.
Right on.
Colorado. So, Carlos, what's going on in the Mux world? Sorry, Don, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I
Go
was
ahead.
just going to say, that's a really pretty state.
Yeah, Colorado.
I'd move there.
Beautiful.
Oh, I love
I'd
Colorado.
move there.
Beautiful.
Man,
Sunny and
mountains.
snowy and beautiful. All right, Carlos, what's going on with Mux Rec, my friend?
I don't know.
Who do we got? Who do we got?
Let's have a look-see. Let's have a look-see.
Let's
I don't
have
know
a
the date.
look-see.
What is the date today?
Today is
we
the
got,
10th.
King Crabapple this weekend up at Kelly's Pub in Fremont, and we have Ski-Town Stiley. No, correction. Sorry, that's
Reboot.
Stop. We have Ski-Town Stiley up at Kelly's Pub in Fremont, and we have King Crabapple at Hamilton Street Pub in Saginaw. And I'm very excited to get them back with Keith Courage and Alphabetics out there. Hamilton Street Pub is a great place to play out there. It's fun. I'm getting to know more people out there, so it's a good time. Plus, that's where my family's from, so if I don't know anybody, I could still see the cousins, so it's all good. Yeah, whoop whoop. So,
it's all good, fam.
Sure, that's what we got going on.
Cool.
Yeah, kicking it with them Stiley boys the other day. They're enduring through some stuff right now. Looking good.
His status today said thanks to everyone who has stuck by their sides through thick and thin. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was the.
That was Ski-Town Stiley's status today.
Yes.
I need to get a hold of that boy.
Well, let's not forget about them playing with Badfish.
Oh, yeah, excuse me. February 2nd, Groundhog's Day. We're going to be at the intersection with Badfish and Scotty Don't. So, I don't know. I got tickets for $12. You can probably get them from Brett at Westside on Wednesdays and at any of the shows. And
you know what? 420 Radio might have to purchase a couple just to give away. Why the hell not? Let's get some people out there.
Heck yeah.
$24 value for two people to go and see Ski-Town Stiley and Badfish. Scotty Don't. Sounds like a plan. Yeah. Sucker. Snucka-free. So what else is going on? Nothing? In Muck's world right now? Nothing going on? No sneak previews?
got them kids in the King Crabapple in the studio again. So I'm excited about that. That's good to hear. I like that. Those words in the same sentence. That's about it, man. I mean, that's what we're doing.
Let's keep the music flowing there, Mux Boys.
Keeping getting the shows, a few times a month, and stay in the studio for the time being.
Yes, it's winter time. It's the best time to stay in studio.
Actually, I thought the roads would be a lot worse since there was concerns, man. They were like, no, we don't want to play shows far out. It's gonna be bad, and then now you got the fall, winter.
Yeah, it's gonna be 50 tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean,
crazy.
I got the bike out again, man.
Nice.
I never really actually put it away, so when I put it away, dude. I was really happy. I put it away, and then like half an hour later, it turned into that snow, and it was bad. So I was like, man,
yeah.
Woo, woo. I was very happy about that. But yeah, dude.
Yeah. Mux Rec. Check them out, muxrec.com. Check them out. So, alright, let's talk about this. Snoop Dogg got arrested the other day in Texas for possessing 2 ounces of marijuana. He got arrested at the same checkpoint that Willie Nelson was recently arrested at for cannabis as well. And everybody who knows Snoop, he smokes. That's what Snoop Dogg does. Snoop Doggy Dogg smokes weed. He does that. That's Snoopy, And he was quoted as saying, "They better leave Willie the F alone." And there's a video on TMZ of him saying that. And I guess all what happened was there was a routine border patrol inspection. And they inspected his bus. Routine, right?
Yeah,
Snoop Dogg.
They knew it was his
it's
tour
Snoop
bus,
Dogg.
whatever.
Oh, routine. Yeah, so when the animal alerted the agents to a possible hit in a wastebasket in the back of the vehicle, the agents claimed they found a red prescription bottle with several joints inside. And cops say that Snoop admitted the dope belonged to him, like a true G. And he said that he has his cannabis license. So, way to go, Snoop. Fight this, brother. We're out here. We're fighting for you right now for this. Snoop Dogg. Let Snoop be free. I'm pretty sure he's free.
Should be. I mean, he's a patient, and look at the way they even found it.
Yeah,
in a prescription
snooping
bottle.
Around. Snooping around.
That's the way it's supposed to be carried. I mean, how it's medication.
He has his card. He seemed to be carrying it correct in joint form, in a bottle.
Yeah,
it was put away in a wastebasket at that. I mean, maybe they thought maybe he was trying to smuggle it because it was in a garbage can. I don't know. Whatever their thought process was, it's Snoop Dogg. He's smoking pot. Let him go. Come on. And plus, he's got his license. Jeez.
He's a medical patient.
Jeez. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Carlos, you got any news, buddy? You got anything? Oh, well, I got something else. Marijuana users can breathe easier. Smoking joints didn't hurt lung function in a 20-year study. 20 years, which means they put probably 10 people who smoke cigarettes alone, not cannabis, up against 10 people who smoke just cannabis, not cigarettes.
Right.
Guess who won?
Hmm.
Yeah. Cannabis users. You cannabis smokers out there are going to be healthier if you smoke joints and you avoid smoking cigarettes. Stay away from the tobacco. Why are you smoking all that brown with all this good green around?
That's what I always say, man.
I quoted you. And this happened in Chicago. Smoking a joint once a week or a bit more apparently doesn't harm the lungs. And it's a 20-year study. It's a 20-year study, man. And they bolster this evidence that marijuana does not do any kind of damage that tobacco does. How does that make you feel? That makes you feel great to be a cannabis smoker, right?
That's teats.
Yeah. Not only does cannabis fight off tumors and cancer and all these horrible things that happen. It's good for HIV patients. It's good for epilepsy, it's good for depression, it's good for bipolar, it's good for everything. This plant is amazing. Amazing. And this is what happens. They do studies and they find out. And I had to tell somebody earlier today, they were like, well, they can't patent Mother Nature. Well, I had to give them the number really quickly to the patent that our government has on marijuana. If you guys want that number is 6630507. It's, you read it and you're disgusted because of the way that they treat us now. Bill Schuette treats us like we're animals out here, trying to get high and get our dope and get our fix. You know, like we're trying to get our fix, man. No, I have a caregiver who takes very well care of me. Thank you very much, caregiver.
Yay, caregivers that take care of patients.
Thank you. Woo! But I have a caregiver who I'm very well in touch with. You know, we have a set time where I go over there. We talk daily, maybe not daily, but we talk often enough to make it daily. You know, and it just seems that these people are trying to take something from us that was originally for us, and they know that it has medicinal value, otherwise this number would not exist. It's a patent from the U.S. government for cannabinoids. Come on. And we've heard Obama on TV, oh, well, you know, cannabis has no, it has no medicinal value whatsoever, blah, 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 blah,
How can he say that?
They know it's true, and there's a patent number right there. Do you want that number again? It's 6630507. Google it. It'll bring you right to the patent.
Google it. It makes you think of Eminem.
You Google it. You Google that number. It will take you right to the patent.
I Googled it the day you sent it to me.
It will tell you everything that you need to know.
It is disgusting.
It's sick. How they hem and haw around, it's got medicinal value. Yeah, it obviously does. Because otherwise you would not be trying to take it over, and Big Pharma would not be trying to jump on that bandwagon as well. So, crazy. Do your do your research, folks. Get out there, educate yourselves. This is why we're here, to help and educate you. Let's do it. Let's get people being educated.
Right.
We need you guys. We need you. We need you people to help in the near future. I'm very sure. To help legalize medical cannabis, or not medical cannabis, cannabis.
Cannabis.
Alone. Cannabis. Alright. You guys got anything else? Anything whatsoever? Speak now, or forever hold your peace. Alright, we are going to call it quits for this evening. We hope to see you guys back next week for another great episode. And next week it's going to be episode 30. Look at that. 30 episodes next week.
Wow, man.
And in less than like maybe 2 or 3 months, we're going to be having our 1 year show. 1 year. All right. So we'll see you guys next week for episode 30 of the Hidden Stash Show. Thank you for joining us this evening, and take care.
Good night.
Peace. Bye, everybody.
420 Radio. We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.